he, I mean, you know how it goes. He should have went online with it. Like, he already had it popping in LA. Before he went online, he was popular here. When he went online with it, I think that fucked it off. Like, when you start advertising shoes that you reselling that nobody fucking got, you ain't got no explanation. Like, just hold up, we missing, right? We missing that. We didn't release that shit and you put it out, and those got stolen. Like, how the fuck?
But you know, like, Nike, like 5 years ago, said they gonna kill the resale game. Because too many like square people was like, damn, I can't get shit.
Yeah, they ruined it. Like.
But then, I can't remember that fat white boy name, but he got like a whole palette of Columbia Blue Jordan 1s.
Well, they started over, but they don't do those limited release no more. Like, they produce more than enough. That's why you've seen sneaker prices are not like what they was like right after the pandemic, because that's another way they stamped it out, was they stopped making it so hard to get. So now, like, if you go, you can pretty much get your sneaker in whatever size. Like, and exposed to retail. We used to be paying our managers out here just because when they have a limited drop, if you can tell the manager what you want, yes, that shit you decide for you to pay them. Better than the used to sell. Better than the food sale.
I was doing that shit in like 05.
Like that, yeah, my homeboy used to be selling the phones and stuff. I need him 150 and said, I'll be there tonight. Just sit my little guy to the side. There's two handlers down here that's killing it though, and like downtown Hollywood and shit like that. There's like a whole row of resellers, and they still got lines out the door when it drops. Because all the people that's not really in the game, sneaker game that got like to where almost like a lifeboat game where people who's not into sneakers were just in it for the investment, like, because it was becoming that. Some sneakers be like $20,000, $30,000 depending on the exclusivity. And so now that when Nike like stopped it, it kind of like killed it, so everybody's leaving it and going on to something else. But they was like fast.
One dude that was doing sneakers and then he flipped to bags. He was opening up all the ones and then he wasn't paying the consignment people. Us people like dirty hustlers in the game and then kick the fuck out and expose. But I'm here for it. I'm glad they're getting exposed because them niggas, they was the worst. It is nothing worse than something you've been doing your whole life and you got your swag to it and you see some
but that's the same with a whole bunch of injuries. Like, it's
there with that in the luxury industry.
the industry.
The luxury industry, they don't act like that. The resale, they call that the gray market. And when you steal it, they call that the black market. The gray market is what caused a lot of luxury brands to close their retail shops. And then the ones that will sell and create deals with like pops, like your jewelers, they started pulling back their wholesale accounts and minimizing them because it was no longer the scarcity that you're supposed to have when it comes to luxury. So they had to like go through a whole like reorganization so that they could get back to that scarcity and that uniqueness because it was driving the prices down.
That's what Chanel does. That's why Chanel went up on their bags like 2 years in a row. And then at limited production, Hermes does that a lot to like keep the Johnny, have you ever heard of this store either called Alma Marie?
No, is this one location?
It's in Atlanta, DC, and Houston. It's a black guy. He not really a designer. He does a lot of like collabs, like collab with like Nike and some other design.
You got a link you can send me?
Yeah, I'll send you a link.
You ready to swipe that card? You got
No, I might have seen their stuff. Nah, I have specific taste when it comes to luxury. It got to be something special for me to sell out the club.
Right. You might have heard of the guy who runs it. His name is something. Let me look it up. Jason What the fuck?
You got a tall kids, some baggage rolls, some lemons, a grill. Oh, onesie. Did you say one? What's the? Oh, onesie.
A onesie. Ray walking around in a onesie on Clubhouse.
Wow, that's nasty work. Been smooth since days. My cow been smooth since days on the roofs. Chill out.
You got two cows. That's it. You got two. Looking at the other one, you gotta refresh your page.
Oh, okay.
Onesie is wild.
Oh,
You
you
saw
saw a cow.
Yo, culturally, I walk about all of these empty freaking office spaces, man. Like from our conversation earlier, like, damn, nobody wanna move in.
So the rent is too damn high. Like my daughter, she wants me to help her start a child care facility, right? And she moved into one of those brand new buildings here in Brooklyn. You know, they got all these buildings going on. They're really nice. They're small, you know, inside they're small. They're huge outside, but I'm like, damn, these rooms are kind of small. But long story short, there's retail space on the ground floor. And so we ran the numbers, and it's like, I'm trying to explain to her, you're not going to make any money. The rent alone, they want 1,100 square feet at 55, some crazy price per square foot. I think the yearly rent will be $55,000. So I told her, even if you watch 20 kids and you pay the rent, and you gotta pay staff, you gotta get furniture, you have to get insurance. I mean, you're not gonna make.
Compliant,
The mine, can she get a grant for providing childcare?
No, that's only. I'm sorry, because I'm.
No, you go ahead. If you know the answer, go ahead. No, go.
Yeah, sorry, brother, but I know the business. I was gonna open it up in the chocolate factory over there by Nate, that new spot that they built. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The old chocolate factory on right underneath the FBR, right? It's near the Navy Yard. They converted it in. So when I found out about the grant money, it's not guaranteed. Like you may get a grant one year and not the next year. So you can't really rely on that. And you gotta kind of have stuff for low income mothers because the state will pay that. You know, the city will pay that. Yeah, and if you're gonna have, you gotta have either high end clientele, Caucasian people. Shout out to my Caucasian friends in the room that are willing to pay those numbers. You gotta have a state of the art facility, or you gotta go for low income. But in the middle, you ain't making no money.
When you're talking about how small it is, Divine, there's requirements for how many square feet, I think, for each child.
She could have, based on that size, she could have held 20 kids at $400 a week, which is not bad. And what Robert said is true. I told her you have to do a high end, like we're teaching kids a foreign language and how to read, and it's got to be some super special and not in the hood, because that is the dilemma. And so you want to put it in East New York, you're not going to have the clientele of the people that are willing to pay. You know, I'm sure they would want to, but they just won't be able to afford it. And so, I didn't even mention payroll on top of that. You have to pay, your workers as well. So she could break even, but she's not going to be able to make a profit and make a comfortable life for herself opening up a daycare center in that part of this.
You can get grants, like for what Robert is saying. It depends on the type of grant and the organization that is offering the grant. Like you may only need to apply for a startup grant versus a capacity building or cash infusion grant, which would be the kind of grant you want to go for if you're looking for something to sustain. But if she just needs something to get her off the ground, you can probably find grants. Sometimes you need to have a partnership with like a nonprofit, but so that it's almost like a co-share space. But it just depends on where you are, and there's a couple of different factors. Like I could talk to you offline, but I just help someone get a grant daycare in a church because the church pretty much wasn't being used during the week. And this lady needed a place. And because it was the church meant that it was for the community, we were able to find a grant to help supplement her capital costs.
I just followed you. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's not. I just want to help her attain her dream. It's just, where we're looking at right now. But maybe with a grant, maybe it could work because the space has been there. The building is going on 3 years old, and there's 4 retail spaces available. And I know what it is. So it has to be something that is going to be able to cover that rent. And of course, you if you're the boss. Some of us know, many of us know, the boss is the last one to get paid. So I want to be able to sustain herself, pay her bills, pay others, and still, have some kind of come up providing a third.
Hey, Devon, you know what? Wait, hold on here. I say something to Devon, please. Oh, God. Devon, please answer him before he fucking moves.
I'd like to go to. Yeah, no, I was just wondering because Devon, I'm here every time I hear him speak, he's like, wait a minute. It's like we're right in proximity all the time. But what we did with our project, one of the things we decided to do with our project, right? When we were thinking about what businesses would work, we came up with a media lab. So you have a lot of creatives, and they need places to go to create their content. So that's one of the things that we're exploring, to have a home for creators to come in, fully stocked with green screens and all that shit. That and also an aquatic center. An aquatic center, about that business model is that rehabilitation through water therapy is pretty popular. So we did a comparison and ran some numbers of what other cities are doing that, and so we're exploring that. So you just got to be really creative when you're building out. Really, you got to do some other different shit that nobody's doing. And that aquatic center will have a lot of support from the medical community. So we're trying to build businesses that will service health issues and things of that nature that we know people are going to get funded and subsidized for. So that's the type of shit we're thinking about. Go ahead, Brooklyn.
What? Yeah, because you changed the topic. That's what you always do. I was going to say, Divine. One of my best friends, she actually went to a very successful daycare center outside of her home in Queens, but she's looking to open up another facility, and I could probably get her to help you guys with that. So a lot of the kids that she has, I guess I don't know what they call it in there, but it's like CAPS. It's like the government. They're funded by the government.
Voucher. Yeah, they get the voucher.
Yeah, they're getting the voucher. So I could, get y'all together. She can help you too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that sounds like what Brooke was talking about. I just put in the chat. You can also look at opportunities to partner with workforce development organizations through like the local municipalities, because lots of times when they launch new programs, the people who apply and partner, and by the people I mean these corporations that partner to get those government dollars, they have to provide wraparound services, and those services are anything from like transportation stipends to sometimes healthcare, sometimes childcare, but it has to be a part of everything that they do to bid to get that opportunity. And if you can either try to seek them out directly or just read the upcoming workforce development grants and who's been awarded it, because if they've been awarded it, they have to allocate that. And if, depending on the proximity of that daycare, you may be able to get some guaranteed money because it's coming from the government and being passed through to the organization who has to pay for it on behalf of the participants in the development program.
Yeah, I did want to add to the the entire context here in New York City, we have, and what may be contributing to finding a place that is actually affordable for retail. And there's a lot of empty retail spots, and a lot of it is due to commercial building owners or buildings of commercial owners of commercial spaces. It's more affordable for them to keep it empty, to be able to take the tax write-off, or if they plan on selling the building in the future, to have a proposed possible rent of the space rather than renting it at a lower price. And adding to that context, the report just came out that New York has the biggest office boom in 2 decades. They have signed the most leases in 2 decades for offices, which I know is not retail, but still commercial space, which is pretty amazing because you don't hear that about New York. All you hear is people dunking on New York. And although it's not a good thing, we also have the most out of control average rents right now. So there is a boom happening. This is what owners of buildings are seeing, and that may be contributing to the fact that they feel like they can hold out for higher rents on their retail spaces, but not every retail space is created equal based on just location and quality of it. Thank you.
I read that report. I was listening to the head of the commercial buildings, whatever. I forgot the guy's name. I was listening to him speak, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, is that hype or is that, you know? And granted, I'm a New Yorker. I want to see us win, but there are a lot of people questioning like what part of the city that's in. So that's happening in Lower Manhattan. It's not really happening in other parts of the city.
I don't know what the thumbs down is, Gemini. You just want to jump on New York? Or
Yeah, Gemini, what's going on, Gemini?
Keep going because nobody's fucking renting in the Inland Empire.
Johnny, my message you, Johnny. This is the right thing.
Okay.
I'll post the link to that article.
With all this talent and information, Robert, you thinking outside the box. Aquatic rehabilitation, damn. I don't know how y'all thought of that, but that's a hell of an idea. Let me shout out again to Janice and Brooklyn.
When I hear New York mentioned a bunch of times, instead of like, it happens.
Oh, man. My manager from LA.
I told Robert he should have made a planetarium. That would be great.
Planetarium. Nah, because
He has also gave me
you gotta get like it go. We know what we zoned for, so we got a list of what we're zoned for. I don't know if we zoned for a planetarium, but that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, someone gave me a great idea. She approached an office building in the city, not her city, but in their city, that was empty, and she got a deal because now all of the people that worked in the building had a place to bring their kids. They could go see their kids at lunchtime, and I was like, man, that is a really good idea. But yeah, where my daughter's at, definitely a lot of retail over there. I'm gonna look into that valuable information that Janice gave, because it's a growing community. And Robert, you probably know, over there in East New York, Gateway, there's all new development over there. I call it the final frontier, right? East New York, Brooklyn. There's a lot of warehouses that are just sitting. There's a lot of undeveloped land. They done took over Williamsburg. They done took over. And I say I just need new investors, rehabilitating the neighborhood and building it up. But East New York and Brownsville are still not there yet.
Junior Street, I know the area very well. New Jersey Avenue, between Dumont and Livonia is where I grew up at.
Sir,
Yeah, I went to Roberto Clemente, right there on Pennsylvania Avenue, bro.
Exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I grew up on Church Ave side, Creek and Troy Ave, Church Ave. What high school you went to, Robert?
Well, I got kicked out of high school. I went to, I got kicked out of a very good, I got kicked out of John Dewey, man.
I went to Dewey.
Dewey, yeah.
I'm older than you. I went to the real Dewey back in, I'm sure. I went to Dewey in the 80s. when we could leave campus and go to Coney Island and
Campus was crazy.
it
was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, like college preparatory.
Yes.
Right. To those guys that don't know, at that time, School John Dewey was for gifted kids. It was for kids that, considered talented. And so they put us in a college environment. But I was torn between the streets and, my academics was on point, but the streets used to call me. So I had a lot of conflict. But shout out to John Dewey.
The co-op program saved me because I was that kid. I didn't go to school. I would come in, pass the test, laugh at my teacher, give him the finger, and walk out of class. And so they was like, we got to do something with this kid. So I worked 1 week, and I took double everything 1 week, double English, double math, double science, double ELA, and got up out of there with honors. And he's right. The school was, you picked your own classes. It ran late. We started at 8. We didn't get out till 4. They had independent studies. Like, they need to bring that stuff back.
We used to have 3-hour breaks. Remember some classes? We used to have like a 3-hour break. That shit was cool. I used to go home, hang out. It was terrible for a kid that didn't have discipline.
Yeah, that's a fact. A good reminiscence. We hate that here. Anyway, welcome to Politically Correct. Shout out to Patty, man. She owed up early today. I was off today. It was great spending the day with you guys. Talked about so much. We talked about the mayoral race here in New York. I don't know if we spoke about Trump talking on the plane today, I believe, or yesterday, just praising Argentina. We mentioned it slightly. We spoke about childcare, which is always good. We spoke about a little bit about the fake ceasefire going on in the Middle East. So much going on, guys. Of course, the floor is open. We definitely want the pushback. We want the banter. Oh, shout out my brother Ben. He's here. And again, I just want to thank Janice and Robert for just opening my eyes up to different ways of looking at trying to get my daughter get her business up and running. Because I've ran businesses in the past, and rent has always been my Achilles heel because landlords, they just don't care here in New York. You see a lot of barbershops go away after a while. You see a lot of businesses just go away after a while because the rent is a problem. If you don't own the property where your business is, you always have to think about, well, how am I going to make this rent, and how is that going to cut into my profit margin? And then of course you have to worry about payroll and payroll taxes and what they have now, the family leave and all these things. So being a boss is not always what it's cracked up to be, unless you find a niche, right? You find something like, yes, this is going to work, and I'm going to take off. And that's not easy. That is never an easy thing to do. There's so many industries out here, so much competition out here, but you got to make your way. So with that, I land.
Hey, Eli, can you know something about Trump tearing down the White House, the West Wing, to build his ballroom? You guys see the pictures?
Talk about it. Go.
Oh no, but just a thing. I mean, I was thinking. I'm not American, but since I've been moved to America, I've come to appreciate it. I appreciate the White House. I've always thought the White House was something sacred that you don't touch it, that you don't really like patch it up or fix something that's broken. But there's pictures all over internet where I think when Trump wanted to do the ballroom, he said he wasn't going to touch any building. And on the White House grounds, he was just going to find an empty space and build his ballroom. But there's pictures now going all over the internet where they actually have like bulldozers, that's what it's called, right? Tearing down like the building, the West Wing building, on the White House ground where he's built his $250 million ballroom. I thought it was just despicable when I saw it, but I don't know what you guys think about it.
I think that if someone is going to do major constructions in some place that they live, they don't plan on leaving.
Exactly. And it's going to take a couple of years to build that. Is he going to even enjoy it if he leaves? I mean, I keep thinking about that. It'll take at least 2 to 3 years to build whatever he wants to build there. And that's a
hard to do anything that he doesn't benefit from the most or exclusively. So it's most definitely
for his own personal purposes. And, you know, I just cannot even tolerate any MAGA talking about cuts because of waste and whatnot. You know, I mean, at this point, they just need to throw a punch. I'm not even going to argue back and forth. They might even take, you know, that picture that you're talking about, because it is discussed, and make it a PTR if they start talking about their own prices and where the money's going, because it's just awful.
Yeah, I'll find a picture. I think I posted it earlier today in the chat, but let me find it again and I'll post it in the chat.
Oh, it's very much out there, but at least not only figuratively, but literally, Trump is destroying the White House.
I'm surprised it took him to his second term to start demolishing the White House, because I want to say, like, on day one or day two of his first term, he said that the White House was a piece of crap or something. He said something disparaging, or called it a dump or something. And I was like, yeah, you just have no disrespect. You have no respect. Like, out the gate, really?
It's not even close to it. That was just the most ignorant thing he ever could have said. It was just an excuse to, you know, take money and personalize it with whatever gold-plated, gilded, trashy, tacky, gaudy crap that he likes in his own personal spaces.
Yeah, I put the picture in the chat. It's a Threads link.
Yeah, that's shameful. That's really shameful. By the way, did you guys talk about Trump telling Zelensky to give up land to Russia? And I think today he said, well, it's being debated on whether he actually said it, but several wires are saying that he said that Ukraine has no chance of winning. I mean, there are credible ones, but no, they're denying saying it from the White House.
Yeah, it was talked about. Katrina had mentioned part of it as well, or opined on it. And I'm sure you talk about the Trump nominee to lead the Office of Special Counsel. Had a message leak that he said he had a Nazi streak in him. I mean, it shouldn't be shocking, right? A Trump nominee
What the fuck's that?
on a text message as a Nazi streak, and also said that MLK was the 1960s George Floyd, and the holiday should be ended and tossed into the seventh circle of hell where it belongs. That is Paul Ignacia, from a text message, and that was leaked. Thank you very much.
So I saw the headline. So is he using the Nazi streak as an excuse, like a lapse in judgment or something? What is he saying?
No, when somebody probably says that, it means that, you know what it is. Like they have opinions that are aligned with Nazis or fascists or fascists.
Yo, Devon, you still here?
Yeah.
Devon, that's dope that you're teaching your daughter how to run a business. I could relate to that. You know, my daughter had sickle cell, and so, you know, she wanted to work and do things, and I had to teach her how to run a business, you know, and because, you know, she was sick a lot, and I knew that she couldn't hold down no job. All the time. So I taught her how to run a business, and she rocked out, and she did well with her business. So I can relate to you passing a torch like that, teaching your daughter how to be self-sufficient. That's dope.
That's what we need, you know. But I think many of us know what the solutions are, and our elected officials aren't listening to us, right? You know, I'm a huge fan of technical degrees and trades and being certified in certain things, right? I mean, building inspectors, they make a lot of money, right? You don't have to go to college for that, right? Tax preparation, my little side hustle. You just need a high school diploma for that. Like, there's so many things that our children don't know because the schools don't teach them. And so we need people that have this type of mentality of, hey, there's things you can do that school is not going to show you. Or we need to have institutions that show them. I say it all the time. You have graduates and people with MBAs, and they don't even really know the foundation of it. How do you get a tax ID number? How do you, what, where, when? Like, they just don't know. Accountants that can't do tax returns, right? There's definitely something wrong. And many of us know the solutions. I guess we just have to go out there and just be the change we want to see. But it's unfortunate that we live in one of the greatest countries in the world, but we're really doing our children a disservice, and it's disheartening. But yeah, if we just do our job, things will change.
Yeah, that whole generation, man, everybody goes, oh, generation wealth, generation. Like, let me tell you something, man. Generational wealth is not about me and assets. It's about training the young people in your family that are going to be getting those assets to make sure they know how to manage those assets. They understand the business models for those assets. Ain't no such thing as generational wealth if the children are not prepared to inherit what's coming to them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never used to hear that in conversations. It sounds nice. Oh, generation wealth. Like, yeah, but you need to teach the kids how to run situations. So you're going to leave them things. And I think we've all experienced that way. Like, growing up, somebody got a house from their great grandma. What did they do? They sold that shit. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to be bothered with it. They didn't have a vision. They didn't know how to develop anything. So generational wealth is a myth if you don't prepare kids to run the business. And then while you're alive, you get the chance to know which children are solid, which children are fucked up. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to our kids, but some of our kids is just not that person. And so at least while you're alive, you get to assess the type of person they are and know whether or not they built to really, handle things when they're no longer here. That's what generational wealth is, preparing young folks in your family, identifying who's talented, passing the torch for it. That's real generational wealth. I'm out here getting dinner. I'm at this fish spot getting dinner for tonight. It's a little wild over here, the little hood spots, but they got the good food. That's where I'm at right now. I got some red snap and vegetables steaming up, so I'm looking forward to dinner tonight.
Well, congratulations.
Brooklyn, you know we're going to fight, right?
It's something there's a mission we don't care about. You and Ray are like peas in the pot. Yeah, niggas love to give us info you don't care about.
Nah, it ain't a matter if you care, it's a matter of just sharing.
Okay.
You don't care. And young boy, wait till you share something. Watch what's going to happen. Watch, I'm going to wait for that shit.
Share, I ask questions. That's how your information be on.
Yo, and where was
you gotta be talking about? No, that's how all your information be out there. Then people be bringing it up back on the clubhouse. I don't share. I ask questions.
I'm pretty transparent. So where was you at earlier? I was in the room with your boy. What's this dude's name? What's that dude name called? The Right Way? Where was you at when I needed you earlier? Nah, that dude. I'm in the room, Big E's room, and everybody in the room is arguing with this dude because he takes everything personal, right? I swear, I was like, damn, where is Brooklyn at? Like, this, because I'm not going to go back and forth with him, but that shit was annoying as fuck earlier. I needed somebody to really pack him up.
Nah, y'all get a taste of your own medicine. Y'all be annoying. So
Nah,
now y'all
he
get
wasn't
annoying. You
annoying.
see how that shit work?
He wasn't it wasn't an enjoyable annoying, like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, fuck, like, what's wrong with you?
Y'all
Like,
think that y'all annoying is enjoyable. That shit is not.
I don't know, but I know I ain't ignorant. I know that.
I mean, ignorance is in the height of something.
You don't think you annoying, Brooklyn?
No, I'm not.
What? You know? Man, let me tell you something, young lady. You be annoying as fuck sometimes.
Everybody, when I tell y'all to mute up, that's what the fuck I do.
I like Brooklyn
That's
Company.
annoying.
She been cooking lately on some stages, so I'm like, alright, she been cooking. She been really cooking on some shit. Like, she'll simplify that shit.
I vote no on Brooklyn being annoying. Brooklyn is not.
Second. We have 3 votes for not annoying. Brooklyn is not annoying. We have 4 votes for not annoying. Brooklyn is not annoying.
Yeah, her name is my hometown. She's not annoying.
Y'all go
8 votes.
I think that's the majority. Yeah.
But we won't use
I'm
the word.
gonna laugh. Look at it.
We won't use the word annoying.
The people love Brooklyn. Thank God.
I'm gonna remove that word. I'm gonna remove the word annoying. Okay? Now.
So what else are we talking about today? I've been enjoying listening to y'all because I've been very busy today, but
But this song on your pizza, y'all.
I'm a crash cow.
Actually, there is something that's going on in New Jersey. I don't know if you guys remember, but last year there was this panic because there were all of these aircrafts, UFO sightings.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and people were thinking it was the military because, like, these crafts were like 20 feet long and completely silent. There were lots of video and pictures of them. Well, a private contractor fessed up either today, yeah, I think it was today. And they said it's their aircraft. They were testing all over the state, and they came up with a picture of some sort. But they aren't really releasing like who these people are, why they were doing it, and what these aircrafts are.
I feel like the aircraft that they're developing and that it looks abnormal. So I remember the story about them thinking that it was like UFO. It was a UFO, but are you saying that this is like a company that's developing a new aircraft?
Well, I don't think they're actual. I don't even know what to call it because they're drones, but they're super large.
Do I need to text
Trump was convinced that these were vehicles that were evidence of this alien technology that the government possesses. So, for an alien update, paging Trent, the intrepid reporter from the border with an alien update. We have to make sure that this that the conspiracy theorists that come into this room understand the story.
Hold on, let me do the Brooklyn. Let me do the trick call. Alien, vax, border, cars, forward.
Yeah.
Jenny's the only one you forgot was AI take over.
That's right.
And it is aliens, like, because at this point in history, we need something. God damn it, I need to be taken somewhere to fuck else besides here, okay? The whole earth is ghetto as hell. The whole earth is ghetto at this point, and they could just take me away. So I was hoping it was aliens.
I would definitely trust aliens more at this point.
Wait. Not people who really the movie V came out, the talking about y'all want the aliens to take y'all away. What's going on?
And that's
What
what
movie you
it
say?
is.
V.
When are you real
How you gonna use a alien movie nobody ever seen? Why you ain't say Independence Day?
We said E.T. and E.T.
No. Fuck Independence Day. I like the Independence Day, but fuck that movie. The TV movie that came on NBC back in the 80s. Serious.
Yeah,
That shit knocked. And it was revolutionary, and that shit made me never want to meet some foreign invader because I don't know what they expect.
You could have said motherfucking
I said what I said.
Y'all remember the Coneheads one with the aliens?
Yeah, you could have said Coneheads.
Yeah, and they were all nice. All of those aliens were nice. So
I said V for a reason. I'm gonna say
we gonna go.
I said what I said. Y'all need to go
say
Everybody knows.
Shout out to Robin Williams.
No, if y'all know Robin Williams and Mark and Mindy, then you have to know V because I came after. What's going on?
Shout out to making connections with references nobody gets.
What you mean? You never saw Mark and Mindy?
They were watching Morgan Minnie on prime time. They were watching the syndication by then.
And that's the problem. You didn't see the syndication with me, so I don't know.
They did syndicate me. Listen, so V was a 5-day. Somebody might be exposed. I'm getting feedback.
I'm explaining that I'm refusing to mute.
Well, that's not nice of you.
Okay.
Basically, you
I don't ever pretend to be nice.
Yes, you do.
I thought we were talking about people from Vendetta.
Yes, people do that.
I was thinking of that.
Yeah, it's a movie called V, and they talk about visitors, and they basically elected everything off the planet that live and water for food. That's why I said I ain't going to nobody's damn shit.
Yeah, well, we also grew up on Alf and E.T. and Coneheads and fucking other shit that the aliens was nice.
You talking about those stranded aliens, and you comparing that to deliberate aliens who come here that harvest us for food.
The Super Mario
Yeah.
movie, they was aliens.
I am. I'm comparing it to the nice ones. Anything probably better than what the fuck going on now.
Men in Black.
I said that when COVID happened, I told my wife the only thing left for us to see is the damn aliens. Like, what's next? 9/11, we done seen
Ghostbusters.
stock in all kinds of wars. It's like the final frontier. But don't be fooled, right? Because then here we go, Project Bluebeam. I'm going.
That would be crazy if aliens came here and they still treated them better than black people. If an alien called me nigga, I'd be pissed, man. What the fuck?
I'm wilding the fuck up. That's where I draw the line now. This is
Perhaps you should go see the movie on Netflix with the aliens who.
Yeah, mute that, Brian, because I don't know what the fuck you be talking about most of the time.
You gotta get around Brooklyn. You know I love you, bro. You know I love you, Brooklyn.
Well, you too, Ryan, but you
know,
remember and rain.
ain't no damn right. There's only one way. You roll your R's.
related to Robert.
I don't believe it. They're related.
They call me Mr. Singleton.
Oh, I watched this. It was like a video segment that popped into my news feed. Did y'all hear about the Chick-fil-A issue where they have as a policy they give like frontline workers, policemen, public service workers free meals? You heard that story?
Yes.
So basically, I only can speak to the one news article, but apparently there's a pattern of it, and they cited briefly other locations and other places in the South. But in this story that I saw, the police officers that stopped into a Chick-fil-A get breakfast, I think it was, they were on a road trip. And there's one black guy, and the other three were white guys. And I guess he was the last to place his order, and the three white officers that were in front of him, they got their orders for free, and then he was charged for his. And
Right, though. I mean,
What did the white police officers say? Did they say anything?
no, they didn't. One of them said that he was outraged and appalled and asked the black officer, did he want him to say something? But that's not what the article said. He didn't say anything. So then,
Why did you not pay?
right, they didn't say anything, and the black officer was too embarrassed, so he didn't, push it under anything there. But then he went and wrote an article to the corporate. Whose echo is that? Okay. He wrote the corporate office, and the local manager for that location responded and basically, kind of tried to, sidestep instead of taking accountability and said that the person that was working the register was a new trainee or something that wasn't normally on the register, which doesn't mean anything because how would you know to give the white officers free meals, but all of a sudden he lost his training or didn't understand his training when it came to the black guy? That didn't make sense. But
Maybe it never makes sense. It's pretty standard.
the black officer in the letter suggested that he didn't want any personal remedy. He just said that he wanted them to be trained and to understand, the implications of that, which to me didn't go far enough. But because he didn't really ask for any tangibles, the letter that he received was basically not even a really apology. It just basically explains that this guy, the trainee, made a bad policy judgment, basically.
That's what happens when you go to retail. I don't care nothing about his intention. I want him to give me my food. So he didn't give me my food. I'm a police. Now you need to send me a coupon in the mail where not only do I get free food for myself, but I get free food for one of my companions.
He did, but he never apologized. I'm sorry, he did send you funds. But the news article did say that they had heard reports of similar experiences with black people not getting the free meals in different areas from South Carolina to other parts of Georgia and so forth.
how y'all do it in the South. I just couldn't never.
You see the black dude, he was embarrassed. That's not, racism is not your embarrassment, sir. That's what's wrong.
Yeah,
You can't
blame him for being embarrassed.
Why?
That's
probably
police, and he probably was a MAGA supporter, so he probably did.
That's why he was embarrassed.
You got violence today.
It's like, what the hell are y'all saying?
We need to stop eating that crap anyway. I put it in the chat. That's a chemical sandwich. That's needed to stay.
Chick-fil-A is
a mass shooter. Somebody walking out of the airport with an AR-15.
What? Airport?
Atlanta. Let me read this. Let me scroll back up. The authorities in Atlanta say they stopped a mass shooting at one of the world's busiest airports. So he only had one 30-round magazine that had 27 rounds in it. His name is Billy Cagle.
Billy Bob.
49 years old. Arrested on suspicion of terroristic threats, criminal attempt to commit aggravated assault and firearms charges. So apparently he was reported by his family. Somebody in his family is like, oh, they're crazy.
So they arrested him in the airport?
Yeah, he was supposed to shoot up at the airport. They arrested him when he got there.
Inside the airport.
Inside, he walked in, yeah. So I'm assuming it's out in the terminal part. That's not terminal. We call it when you go to your terminal. Yeah, he's in that part. He wasn't behind security and all that.
He had to be white.
Of course, that's why I read you the name. Billy Cagle, at 49 years old.
Right, yeah.
He was driving a truck, and he found the stuff in his truck. So they must have gave him the license plate and everything.
Not them as a buck in a truck.
Yes,
Joe's his middle name.
a buck in the truck. That is it right there.
These men are wilding. Like, I think that there was a hunting stand that was put up near where
Somebody told me about that around today.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So somebody that went to that airport said that because depending on where you are in the country, a lot of times, especially in the middle of nowhere, I don't understand why they did it, but there are tree stands everywhere, and you're in the middle of the goddamn woods in places like Florida and other places. You know.
Hey, I came up here to add to the ledger that Brooklyn is not.
Who says she ignored it?
Thank you.
Shout out to that. Thank you.
No, they were telling me she needed to send that fire. That's what they let the records reflect.
I have some breaking news, of course. It may not be breaking, y'all.
Breaking.
They're breaking the east wing of the White House. They already tearing that shit down. Just started on this ballroom. And I have to read what this said.
Right.
Oh, you gotta stop this. No, go ahead. Please continue. Did you guys read his tweet or whatever he posted? Well, I don't know what's funny. Just go ahead and break your news. Yeah, so, I don't know if you guys knew this, but for more than 150 years, every president has dreamt of having this White House ballroom, and so now he's making this great achievement. Guys,
I can't wait for if we ever get another president. Jesus, please let that happen.
Brooklyn
For
here.
them to come and change the name of that bitch to motherfucking not Trump's. Okay, I can't wait.
I feel like this is our let them eat cake moment, kind of.
Yeah, because he might have if he survives, and the next president come in and change his name while his ass is alive, it might kill him, and I'm gonna be so happy.
He's out there destroying public housing. That a goddamn shame. You gotta revoke his ass, his fucking SNAP benefits, and his.
I don't understand how that's permissible. Because isn't there like a board, an independent? You mean the White House is part of the no breaks on him. Is it the White House is part of the Park Service, right? You would think.
They are. They fucked it all up.
I'm just asking a question. I don't want to hear y'all's feelings on Donald Trump. I mean, I'm just trying to understand where the White House goes. If it's under the Park Service, I know there are parts of it that are with archives, but it's under the Park Service, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but the head of the Park Service is the president.
And I don't think there's much of Parks Service Department anymore anyway.
Yeah, they didn't
The Park Service. Yeah, the Park Service is under the Department of Interior. In that case, Trumbo, relax. Hey, stop it. That in that case, president is the head of everything.
Read something really quick. It says here, historical preservation. The Committee of the Preservation of the White House established in 1964 guides the maintenance of the public state rooms, museum character. The committee and the White House curator must be consulted for changes to these public areas, architectural guidelines. The National Park Service, there you go, oversees the upkeep of the building and the grounds. Any additions must match the White House historical, architectural style and design.
Okay, that's what I thought. I knew some of it was under this other part, like a heritage thing that's specific to the White House. Okay, thank you.
Like we have areas of our city, right? Certain houses, certain streets. You can't just, we want to knock this building down. No, that's a historic landmark, so to speak. But again, I think April said it, no breaks. Just do what you want. I'm the emperor, I'm the king. I'm Michael Jackson, you Tito.
Okay, we can't ask for permits. And you got the permits for it.
Here's what's going on. Okay, so it says that the White House argues that demolitions inside preparation or outside the jurisdiction of the National Capital Planning Commission or NCPC, which must approve new construction. The administration has stated that the NCPC's approval is only needed for new construction, not demolition work.
So they just gonna knock it down and replace it with something. They so dumb.
By the time he starts the building process, the NCPC will probably be dissolved and no longer anything to do with them. So, yeah, that's what's up.
There's an age of consent. I heard they trying to change that too.
This is really. What's up with bulldozing the whole thing?
He's the king, shitting on people from fighter jets. My thing is this: what more do you want? Just go on and do it. Like whatever the extreme you want, let's just get it over with.
You say the jet shitting thing. Kenny Loggins has complained about him using
That's right, bro. I saw that. He immediately is demanding it to be scrubbed from the internet. He's insulting.
The guy that sings Electric Avenue won his case because Trump used, showing our age, if you guys know Eddie Grant, Electric Avenue, I think he's Guyanese, got him. Big settlement.
I was just on Electric Avenue.
You're shaking higher.
I don't know what an Electric Avenue is. What's that?
It's a song that is.
One hit wonder.
Between Snyder and Tony.
Oh yeah. Electric Avenue is in Brixton in London.
It's a song. Just Google, put Eddie Grant.
Yes, but it's a song about the street in Brixton in London.
Today is okay.
Never saw him though. And what was he? Why did they get him for it?
Confirmation. Yeah.
And that's what you call it is so for Isaac Hayes the third or whatever.
Correct. Yep. Using
So he already lost one case now with somebody else. That's cool. I hope they win. I hope everybody wins because he got the money.
Grant won, I think the third one as well. So let them keep going.
Can you hear me, Rob? Listen, if we keep doing that, I mean, I hope the artists keep doing it, but unfortunately, we have the song covered. There's not any more you can say about that. It's just covered, and that's it. So you can say
My name is covered.
You know,
the artists still get, the writers still get money.
Yeah.
But it's a new publishing, it's a new typical, master. So that's it. Nothing we can do if they cover that niche.
Smart enough. Don't give them any ideas.
I think they let him do this demolition project so that he can be distracted with something that is more in his scope of understanding, so that the real people pulling the strings, the puppet masters, can do all of their devious.
I heard the section of the White House that's being demolished. I heard that was storing the Epstein files.
That's funny.
It's not funny. It's true. I mean, it's true.
Hey, so do y'all think his intention is staying more than 3 years? Why else do you spend all that money on what is he making?
He absolutely wants to be in there more than 3 years, yes.
Yeah.
I think it looks like it happened in the library. He's supposed to be, this is supposed to be in his honor. But I think he wanted to fucking stay. So.
JD, I mean, he got two Trump 2028 hats on his desk.
Yeah. That's what I said. He's the way.
No, go ahead, JD.
Yeah, I was gonna say the way he has, ICE and trying to implement the military. I think this is the calm before the midterms. I think after the midterms, he's gonna go haywire.
Yeah, the thing about it is he's not planning on staying alive long enough, but that's not realistic. But I would say that he wants to create his legacy. He wants his legacy to be stuck there. That's why he's doing this. It's obvious.
As far as that, okay.
I've been gone for a little bit, but I'll be short. Did you guys talk about the shooter at the Atlanta airport?
Yeah, they just talked about that.
How much late breaking news are you gonna give us?
Listen, I've been working, Spirits. Some of us have to work, because
Yeah,
everybody got paid today to work for Uncle Sam.
Well, I was gonna say that the conspiracy theory, and I gotta make that note. It's the conspiracy theory, guys, is that they're getting Trump for the siege. So that's why he had the Trump 2028. Well, I mean, that's what I heard.
Say that again.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me?
Is Ryan in the Matrix?
Yeah, he is in the next. Well, I need to repeat it if you're right.
No, we heard you, brother. We put it on Junior's running. We heard you. I like it.
And the alien man has joined us.
So I know we don't pay Steve Bannon a lot of attention, but he said on the show multiple times that the Trump 2028 thing is real, and that they will find a way to engineer it so that Trump will run for a third term and that Trump will win. I try to take it with a grain of salt, but I'm really worried. I mean, what's his name? This guy just called his name. Steve Bannon is diabolical. I feel like with folks like Steve Bannon there, was the devil one that's doing all this ICE thing, Stephen Miller, Corey Lewandowski, they would try to put a plan together to subvert the laws and try to put this guy back for a third term. I really think so. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'll succeed, but there has not been one time, to my knowledge, that Donald Trump has referred to post 2028 not being in the White House. Every reference has been, I'm here for life. I'm going to be, well, basically, I'm here for life. And they floated all kinds of things like martial law. He openly says these things. So I don't really know why people think that that's not his plan. They actually tried to craft a plan in the House of Representatives to make it legal for him. I don't know if it's for him only, but for him to run for a third term. In all of his rallies, he's talked about folks not needing to vote again because he'll be there for good. So, I mean, at this point, we're just not listening if we think that his goal, at least, isn't to live out the rest of his days in us. I'm done.
And his also goal is to troll us, to get us riled up, because even if he thinks, yeah, it's probably not going to happen, and supporters think that as well, the idea that it makes us crazy and that trolls the fuck out of us is actually more important than actually their ability to get it done.
I mean, I don't think it's a combination of troll, but I think he would definitely try to do it. He would push the limit.
I just don't think there's any point in talking about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Until we get to the point where the candidates are chosen or in the primary.
No, actually, I don't agree with you on that one. I mean, I don't think that we should think that it is a done deal by any stretch. But we really do need to look at the plans that they're putting in place to capture the White House for good, right? Well, we first of all need to make people aware about it because a whole lot of people are not. I mean, when they're talking about martial law, I mean, at this point, if we think that that is not actually on the table, I don't know what to tell you.
I get it. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so it's on the table. We're talking about it. So what are we going to do about it? What's the plan to preempt it? Is there a plan to counter strategize? Like, what are we talking about it for?
Well, shouldn't you talk about it before you strategize? I mean, how do you get a strategy out of how to talk about it?
So what is there to talk about?
I'm fighting with sister. I mean, we can't make everything sound.
Talking about it. Okay, so he said this at rallies. He said this. Pete, what's his name, said it. What's his name has said it. There's just a plan. Okay, what else is there to say about it?
Okay, so the methods, for example, multiple times they've talked about martial law. They are actively mobilizing the military using terms like training ground, practice ground. So we first of all need to see what avenues are there in terms of what the military, what role they may or may not play in something like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so what are the steps that we're taking about that?
I mean, what are the steps we're taking? Nobody's done anything because they think it's all a joke. And they're going to have a Pikachu face when something crazy goes down.
So what are the things that we can do about that? Like, what should we be doing?
Well, it sounds like you don't think we should do anything, but just
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What I'm asking you, what do you think we should be doing?
Right.
That's
Because
it.
I'm tired. This is the thing that gets me. There's all this like histrionic and hysteria in the rhetoric, right? And people are talking, oh my God, he's doing this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But then that's it. It's like, that's the thing. All right, so he's doing these things. What are we as citizens going to do to prevent all of these terrible things from happening? How can we do something?
Dr. AJ, what do you expect? I mean, they did the No Kings rally That's something that people, we talked about it in this room, everybody talks about it.
She's asking, what additional do you think we should do? Other than voting, other than protesting?
I mean, look, let me say this. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the answer, I don't know if it's the answer you're looking for. The problem is, what can you do? If you have a president that would go as far as instituting martial law, all these insurrection acts, the answer you're looking for is we actually get physical, start a civil war. If voting ain't gonna work, that's supposed to be our main line of defense, is voting against this shit. So if that's not gonna work, if protesting's not gonna work, I mean, shit, what else left is there? I mean,
that work.
you know, I don't know if everyone's expecting that we get out there and have a civil war.
No. Hold on.
I'm just saying, you know, all I'm saying is, people out here driving out all this hysteria. And I'm saying that the hysteria doesn't do anything for us except increase our anxiety. If we are serious about preempting these things, what can we do to preempt it? Besides being histrionic and hysterical.
And he's at a
Yeah, just hold on. I think that it is uncharitable to say histrionic. I mean, that's ridiculous. Mentioning something does not mean that you're being histrionic and hysterical. But if you want an example of what people can do, we can just look to Europe to see what the people have done in fascist situations. One of those things are general strikes. Okay? That I don't mean boycott, but general strike. Those are days where large amounts of people clock out, sit down, don't go to work, and bring the economy to a halt. Things start moving when you start hitting those types of sectors.
Okay, so
in turn, we start in rooms like this, making people understand that this is an actual threat and not just vain, hysterical imaginations.
Okay, so how do we get the ball rolling on a general strike?
Okay, same way that they did the No Kings in terms of awareness and having a strategy, whether it's decentralized or not, you can actually start doing smaller strikes, or do coordinated strikes around the country. Social media is a great way of coordinating it exactly the same way they did No Kings.
So I should go to when I go to the meeting where they have for the 5150, I keep 5051, then I should say, like, let's investigate having a general strike. So groups like 5051, right, because they're like the No Kings people, they should look into organizing that. Is that okay?
I wanted to delineate the conversation, because one conversation is about, oh yeah, I'm going to stay, be elected for a third term and all that. That's a constitutional thing. That's the part where the rubber meets the road on the primaries and going through all of that. The other part is, I think, a rightful conversation, which is about creating martial law, which is not having voting. That's a different way for him to stay on. I think the discussion about, can he run for a third term? I think that's fucking garbage right this second. I think the conversation about martial law and about cracking down on voting and all that shit, that's a more righteous conversation.
I agree, and like, since there actually is, like, is it beyond Trump's scope of intention to want to be the true king and truly not leave office? No, of course not. It's absolutely not beyond just his deep narcissism. But right now, it just seems premature. Even when I presented that to some hardcore MAGAs, they're like, "Oh, Moose, you got TDS." Like, even they think that's too crazy for him. I think, yes, like, keep doing the No Kings, but it seems premature now. I could see if he was really causing more of a ruckus, in his third year, fourth year. But to say now, it's like then it's like it's like they're gaslighting, right? It's like it's like we're falling into their trap. We're taking their bait. We're like, oh, Trump is just trolling you libtards again. So I think it's just a premature conversation, but it's 100%. I think it's Trump's wet dream, but I think it's premature to have it.
Moose, I think the same way you're sounding now was probably the same way folks were sounding early 2024 when folks were talking about Project 25. But I saw this meter the other day. It said it was accomplished 45 or 49% of everything that they listed in Project 2025. To Sister's point, I think just creating awareness and making people hysterical is actually a good thing at this point. Being hysterical will push you out to go out and vote. Let's say Trump even overcomes it and run for a third term. It would show everybody will be prepared for it, and everybody will go out and do their best to put out everybody to vote. So I think talking about it now is a good thing to do, but asking us what can we, I think we're almost powerless. The most things we can do is go out and protest. I think was it JD that said it? We're not gonna go. Yeah, and
I say we can all agree to disagree on this one. I'm with Ben. I think this is the same tone we had 2024. We'll just wait till they hit the streets and grabbing people off the streets. Well, we're here now. I think it's the same we had back in 2024. So I don't think it's necessarily driving hysteria to bring up the point that this man is clearly in the process of planning stuff. I mean, what's the point of all these actions he's taking? What's the point? What's the point of all this stuff he's doing in the streets? What's the point of him driving out all these immigrants? What is the point? What is the point that we think, right? They're feeding one thing. They're feeding, they stole black jobs and we're paying all this money for them. But we all know that's bullshit. So if that's all bullshit, then what is the reason that he's doing all this stuff that he's doing? So I don't think it's a bad thing to talk about. It's not to drive hysteria. It's not to jump the boat. I understand. Let's focus on what's happening now. But shit, we said that before. Let's focus on what happened now. That shit comes quick. 3 years, unfortunately, it's quick. And my thing is just the steps that he's taking now is in preparation for that. And maybe hysteria, but I'm not the one driving hysteria. Damn commander-in-chief is.
All I'm saying is, all the talking about it and why I'm saying it's hysteria is because it just gives everybody the thing of oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I just think a little less of that and a little more maybe. It's the whole point of how to people and you say, look, this is what's going on. Let's get it moving. But just the ginning up of attention and awareness, I think it's overdone. And that's just my opinion.
And I respect your opinion, but here's the challenge that I'm seeing. The people who are saying, let's get it moving, they have an equal and opposite people from the center and liberals saying, your hair is burning, there's no need to do anything, I don't believe you, you're hysterical, the sky's falling. So this time last year, in fact, way earlier.
So some of those people with the people who moved it.
Understood. But the thing is, we were saying for, I think, 2 years, that they're going to turn the military on the people. We had all the why, those things, we had a legitimate reason to believe this. And it was not the MAGA, it was the right wing who basically drowned us out very people who were trying to listen to us. And here we are today. And, I just think at this point that I might be on the side of the accelerationists and just let people wait.
I'm sorry, go ahead, sister. I was just telling she was on mic.
Yeah. We talked about the voting rights for years. We talked about Roe v. Wade. We talked about the military being used against people, and it is the liberals. It is the centralists who have shouted us down the most. And that's the challenge that I have. You can't even talk about strategy if people don't really believe there's a problem or that there is a legitimate threat. And so I don't give a flying fuck about people's anxiety. Go take a booze bar because you are in a situation where your rights are being stripped away.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, but and that ain't right, because it's like, I told you, and look what happened. I told you, and look what happened in the hearing officer people. You just gotta activate it. And my only point is election, and it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. So you gotta move with the people who are moving, work with the people who are working, and then hope that the groundswell is enough.
Can you keep the first part of
And what I would respectfully like to ask is for people who don't agree to get out of our fucking way. Because honestly, you can't fight your own way.
Who's in the way?
Oh my God.
I don't understand. Who's in the way? You know what?
The people who are naysaying and saying this is not real. Because we're all talking to the same people.
Well, why are you talking to them? It's my point.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think the same thing. It's just that you're at phase A, which would be awareness, and Dr. AG wants to be at phase B, which is execution or strategize. Yeah, because if they don't believe, just leave them alone. I'm not interested in converting them. I'm not interested in convincing them. I'm interested in going with the people who are ready to fight the fight, right? That's it. We can't waste time
without the number. They're just going to shoot you down and make you an example. That's the problem.
There it is. I'm sure that's how they did it in the civil rights movement too, until there was a groundswell and then people joined in. You can't wait for everybody. But that's just me. And that's just, we all have to make a decision how we gonna show up for this fight. And, the pulpit convincing people that's just not my ministry.
So let me ask you this. I heard a discussion. What are you guys suggesting as outside of voting and contacting our elected officials and protesting? What other options do we have to fight this?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier about general strikes, and those do take quite a bit of coordination. Usually you start with the labor unions. They're the ones who usually spearhead that type of thing. And I think the unions had a big part to play with the No Kings protest, if I remember correctly. There are other things as well, but they're hours late because before, we could have handed this off the pass with just voting correctly, right? But we had to have been willing to have that conversation. But there's a statement that I'd like to say, and the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. And so at this point, the people who are noticing that their Medicaid and whatnot are in jeopardy should not only be contacting their reps, but planning to find ways of what they're going to do if they do lose their benefits, right? Speak to your doctor, speak to whoever to see what you're going to do for your own self and your own families. Work with your local community to make sure that your family's going to be straight. Are other things as well, like there are tax revolts for people who to make that kind of thing. But at this point, I'm kind of moving into accelerationist territory because I don't really think that we're going to have any mass movement on the left without a lot of them feeling the pain. And I think they feel it if the Dems lose the House, because at that point there's not going to be any holds barred on what these insane people can do. Now, do I want them to lose a house? Hell no. Absolutely not. But the fact of the matter is, in the last 4 years, there's been more than 400 laws passed to suppress the black vote. And so the final nail in the coffin is what the SCOTUS is doing. And so whatever we can do to influence the SCOTUS, and I do think that although they are, in my opinion, bent on serving Trump, I still think that they fear the people enough to listen to what the people are saying. So I do think that the No Kings thing was one thing, but mass demonstrations over voting rights has to be a part of this. This is one of the reasons why, I often criticize the Dems, and I know a lot of Dems get mad at me at this, but my deal is there hasn't been an effective strategy put in place to protect the voting rights of black people. I don't think we would be here right now if black people had, their full representation in the voting booth. But here we are now, right? And so at this point, at least this last bit needs to be preserved by any means necessary. That's just how I see it.
I was going to say, speaking of healthcare, I don't want to dig too deep, but if anybody has lost their healthcare, Kaiser has a program for people who, fall into that income bracket to be able to have some sort of health insurance through them. So if anybody needs it, Kaiser has a program.
Yeah, real quick, because sister saying she felt like the No Kings protest was bullshit, right? I don't feel that way, and I want to say why, right? Because I was there, living ground zero, right? When you see that many people out, and you see the way that people are moving in solidarity, and then you realize that it wasn't just my city, there were multiple cities. And now we know the strength and the numbers that are starting to feel the exact same way. They're realizing that too, that there is a collective thought that's happening, and people are moving in union, and they're not doing it lawlessly. That's a powerful thing, whether you understand it or not, in my opinion, in my little opinion. I definitely think that makes a fucking difference. I really do.
Gemini, I was here, we went down to, anyway, we saw the community, the gathering, how just people going on, it was, and this is real, we ran over here, okay, for real. And acreage, 2,000 showed up downtown to Town Square. Now, the city of 300,000 people, that's not a lot, but it is, right? That is a lot, right? But when you get this kind of momentum, you can have people who are like the farmers who lose shit, people who are not going to be fed. When you start to invite those people in, when those people see, hey, we're going through hell, but these people over here are like, look, we're not going to take this shit sitting down. You can start to build the momentum. And when that happens, shit changes. There's a whole new thing here. It's not going to be easy. The fight will not be easy. But if you think people are going to sit down and not be fed, not be able to go to the doctor, not get paid at work, if you think people just going to sit down and take, I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to happen like that. People are not going to sit. We Americans are spoiled. Yes, we are. But when disruption reaches your front door and causes pain, people will come out. Trust and believe.
And right now, the news is reporting that it's one of the largest single-day demonstrations in the history of the United States. That's significant.
So they talk how Trump retweeted them videos of him shitting on people.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah. So one of the things that people keep is lost about the value of the protest of the rally. Like tonight, and I've been talking about the head count and the number in the optics and the press coverage. While some may think that is significant or that didn't move the needle, like in the marketing space, we call it when you draw people out and incentivize them to come out to an event, we call it an activation because once they get there, you do things to them. You organize. Like Tiffany gave examples of what they did in Memphis. I saw when I drove past, I saw booths where people were signing up for different causes. They were signing up for registering to vote. They were doing all these things. Those are called activations, i.e., getting people activated for the next thing, whatever the next plan is. Now you've got them on a list. Now you understand who your potential leaders are, or the potential sub leaders or team members. Same thing when you go out and canvass, when you're canvassing for a politician or whatever. They start as like meetings and rallies, and then from there you identify who are the influencers, thought leaders, and leaders that you can rely on to hold an office, be a part of the think tank of the strategy. So it's not just to show up there and listen to people speak and then go home.
I completely agree. And just in case anybody got it twisted, I was definitely not speaking against the protest. In fact, quite the opposite. I think it was
I didn't think you said that.
yeah.
Spirit. Sorry, Cissy, go ahead. No, I just want to tell Spirit. So, did you know one of the, you were mentioning not bringing up about the third term, but one of the main things that this rally was addressing was the fact that Trump wanted a third term. I mean, that's one of the main things of the No Kings protest.
Yeah, I understand that, but the No Kings is literally no kings. And when I'm speaking about the third term, I'm speaking about the process of electing a president, in terms of, party against party and going through that whole process. I'm not standing on. I'm saying that's a more imminent threat in my mind versus him trying to go around the Constitution to run for a third term. That's the hysteria part that I object to very specifically, and not the part where he wants to stay on to power.
I guess for me, oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
That's fine. So for me, like, I attended.
Yeah, go ahead.
You go.
Y'all killing me. Agent, go ahead, please.
So for me, like, I attended a King protest, and for me, I guess maybe I was disappointed because it wasn't what I expected it to be. And looking back on it, the thinking was a waste for me. Like, I don't think that it really radicalized people to the point that I wanted them to be at. It seemed like, for me, when people, it seemed more like a rally. It didn't seem like a protest. The idea of people gathering on a Saturday doesn't really impact anything. It's like the day, nobody works on a Saturday anyway. So like people gathering on a Saturday to, march to wherever they were marching to and dressed up as unicorns and, playing around really didn't hit, well, to me, didn't hit like it was supposed to. So for some people, it just seemed as though it was just a gathering. To me, the messaging wasn't very clear. I understand, they were saying no kings, but I think not addressing our whole institution, whereas it has given one person so much power, and not addressing the supporting entities that have given him all that power didn't sit well with me. Also, like, I just think the focus, I just don't think there was any clear focus. I like the idea of people getting together, but I think it would have been more impactful if people got together on a day that people had to take off, blocked roads, shut things down, and actually had an actual march, not a get together where people were dressed up and doing cartwheels and dressed up like unicorns. So like that for me was why I was disappointed.
Can I say something real quick? Just real quick. So in your city, do they have the Tuesday things where people do the sort of micro protest, and they may do it like on corners or in front of the political office, or do they have the indivisible many protests in your city? Because the No Kings is sort of a culmination. It's not a single one-time thing. So yeah, it's done on a Saturday because people do have to work, and not everybody has the luxury of being able to take off of their job to participate. So it is to maximize participation by acknowledging that some people can't attend the other ones that are held, like during the week, where they go and bombard their representatives' offices with questions and signs. So there are micro things that are happening, and this was just like a culminating event.
We do have micro protests that lead in, and I understand where you're coming from. And to the song said, I didn't say it was worthless. I'm just saying it wasn't as impactful as I wanted it to be. I understand that people do have to work, but I just don't think, especially given the response that Trump gave, he basically posted an AI video of him taking a gun on protesters.
But we can't be obsessed with what he's doing, though. It has to be like about the people. It doesn't have to be responsive or I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but it's another, like, I respect your opinion. I think, you're brilliant. But I think, for me, just me personally, like, isn't that who we're trying to speak to?
No.
Isn't that who we're trying to have listen?
No.
I mean,
I agree. I think we're not outraged enough at the response from Trump. I think we should be way more.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what
I think y'all are missing it. Like, assuming that it was a protest, by your definition, like, I never had that expectation that it was going to be a protest. I felt like it was always going to be a rally or some type of organization, organizing event to draw in more people and make them aware. And then from there, in the face of you go out and do different things. Like, I never saw it as a test, even when it was called a protest, because based on all of the pre-publicity around it, it was more like a rally. To me, I've been to both, and I know the difference. And I can see if you thought it was a protest, expecting a different level of coverage, a different level of activities when you get there, taking over bridges and things like that. I never anticipated any of that because I knew of the local coverage and how they were planning for it, in terms from city ordinances to the police coverage. I could tell it wasn't going to be a protest, but I just think that it might have been a mismanagement of expectations on some people to expect it to have been one thing, and then I think expecting, if you had that expectation that it was going to be more along the lines of a protest, I can see you feeling like Trump's reaction or expecting his reaction to have been something different than what it really was. Yeah, I mean, that was my expectation. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say real quick, Agent, so I hear you. Like, Trump's response, incredibly adolescent. I mean, that's actually an insult to adolescence. But he responded. Like, the king of trolls himself, he could have ignored it, but it triggered him. Again, his response was completely conduct of becoming a president, a mature, well-rounded, reasonable adult, let alone be president of the United States, but he got triggered nonetheless, which means the message is getting through.
Yeah, but I think like him being triggered and not seeing any consequences, like he does that quite often. He does get triggered, right? But it's like he doesn't change in the direction that we want him to change, right? So like that's why like I just think that his response is like, fuck y'all, and I'm just gonna make your lives worse. Because you're not gonna do anything to me. You're not gonna touch me. I'm untouchable. So I think I hear what you're saying, Denise, but it was like marketed to me, right? And other people as if this was an actual protest. And if it was a rally, of course I would have attended and my expectations would have been different, like he stated earlier. But I think at this point where we're at as a nation, like we need to have actual marches. We need to shut things down. And I'm kind of very, because I live in a city where we have protests quite often.
I'm kind of tired of, petitioning and doing this. We need action.
I think we gotta be realistic. Everything going on today, the way Trump is deploying military out there, Trump is literally just waiting for shoot, and he will shoot. And he's waiting for something to trigger something, So I think being realistic and asking people to go close down buildings or barricade buildings or disrupt things is just feeding into what Trump is.
Yeah, but I think that if we are organized, what we're going to do, I think certain things are avoidable. Don't get it twisted. I don't believe that, Trump is not going to, use the police force or the military. I mean, I was in New York during COVID. I was in New York during the BLM movement. We were out there. Yes, we were fighting. Yes, there was blood. Yes, it was messy. But we were very organized behind the scenes. And, we felt as if we accomplished something, that we were actually heard, because the response was that they were actually listening to us and they were being pushed in the direction that we wanted them to be pushed in. And so for me, I think at this point where we're at as a nation, I think this is too soft. The response from us is too soft.
You just
Wait a minute.
Can I go ahead, Brooklyn?
We're facing the military invading our cities. I think that was actually the demonstration that was needed, because anything that was going to be cause any kind of violence or any kind of aggression, it would have gave him all the authority he needed in order to make his military cities a thing. So I think they went about it the right way, actually, and it was wonderful. I also was there in Atlanta, and there was a lot of people, and they did, Johnny said, they were signing people up for voting and all kinds of different things, and I think it did what it was supposed to do.
And Brooklyn, to your point, weeks before this event, like Mike Johnson, his minions, every GOP person that had a voice was out there calling it the Hate America rally. That these were a bunch of anarchists and communists that were just going to cause trouble. So they were expecting that we would disrupt, the folks that attended would disrupt something, cause a lot of chaos. And I think they were surprised at how calm and fun, I would say, and how jovial everybody was in this event. So they were looking for people to cause disruption, and then they'll be like, yeah, I told you this guy's in America, this guy just... So, the point I'm trying to say is, I think they did a great job. The way I feel this was creating awareness, and I think they created so much awareness that kind of put some panic in both Trump and the folks that worship him.
Brooklyn pretty much said what I was going to say earlier. One second, bro. Brooklyn pretty much said what I was going to say earlier. If Trump wants to do martial law, but martial law is a lot harder to implement. But what's a lot easier for him to implement, and he's leaning towards, and he's verbalized it, so it's not me guessing. He's literally said this, is the Insurrection Act, right? It has a lot lower level of legal necessities that can be met to be triggered, right? So with that being said, if we do start pushing too hard, if there is violence, he's already sending the National Guard to cities that don't have significant violence right now, like San Francisco, for instance, right? So when you see him doing that, if you don't think that he will absolutely trigger the Insurrection Act, and that will be the snowball that starts going downhill in the building, then I don't think you're reading the board appropriately, right?
No,
also, even though he didn't respond in the manner that we wanted him to respond, I didn't give a fuck about his response. It's not for him to respond. It's for the public to start mobilizing and taking action, and for other politicians and our representatives to realize that they're supposed to step up and represent us, right? Because we're acting out as the people, right? The people of the United States. So the fact that he responded at all means that we do have his attention. If a non-response would be a lot worse than him creating an AI video and put it out, although that's a piece of shit video and not very presidential on any other fucking level, which is insane that a president would do something that fucking childish. We should attention enough for him to respond. which means he's watching this and he understands that there are incidents happening, there are people protesting, there are people that are not aligning with his fucking wannabe dictatorship, and they're doing it in a structured, peaceful manner, which ties his hands as to what legal repercussions he can bring. The only thing he could do was an AI video. You gotta put it in that light. That's the only thing he could do. There was no violence for him to respond to. He can't have an armed response to a structured protest, legal protest. People that are compliant.
Well, I mean, I think that he can, but the important thing to sort of help people that's talking, the narrative, and this is that protests also shouldn't happen, but I think that this was very important, right? The narrative that Trump is putting out there, these people are Antifa, these Antifa people are terrorists, right? We have to send in, the National Guard to get, this terror under, right? But instead of that kind of appearance, we had people dressing up in costumes, having a good time, working within the bounds of the law. When judges are going to eventually be adjudicating on Trump sending whatever, because expecting Trump to change his behavior, I think, is a fool's errand, right? But countering the narrative of, the idea that all of these people are belligerents who are anti-American, who want to go and do bad things to you, whoever you is, right? But when the cameras are turned on and when something this big is organized, we have people dressing up in inflatable dinosaur costumes, right? We have people dressing up in inflatable frog costumes. These things make a difference, and we've seen things fail in court even with Trump-elected judges, or Trump-appointed judges, right? Where even they have said, no, this doesn't work, right? You can't go and do these things. It's going to continue to be a struggle, but I would suggest, and again, this is not to go, I don't think it's an either or necessarily, right? I think that protest certainly still has value, but events, mass events like this, which welcome a lot of people who may not be comfortable with protesting, but may be comfortable with having more of a jovial time like this while still going and demonstrating, right? About, we shouldn't have King Cedric in a way that is playful, fun, counter to the narrative that Trump yells at us, he swears is happening, is, I think, important.
So me and my uncle, who is 80 something years old and was in Vietnam, we talked about the No Kings protest because I went to his house after I went downtown. And we was talking about, my cousin was talking about how the people was dressed up and, it was people saying that it looked stupid. And just to that point, he was just saying that that's not far from the norm. Even back when they were protesting during Vietnam times, people would dress up and they would have the different signs and all of that. So don't think of it as, something that's different. Like, people dressed up, they did all of the things that they're doing now. This is the norm for protesting. Now, I don't think that people are used to that because we basically, 2020 and all of the time before that, we're used to riots. You understand? That's what we are accustomed to, rioting for the most part. Protests turning into riots. And that wasn't what this was, and some people are getting it confused, and that's where the problem lies, I think.
I think you understand that it is aggravating MAGA so much. They want to turn it into so many things that it wasn't. As someone said before, Trump and his media arm, the people who put his message out, were calling us anti-American, calling us criminal, calling us hating America, all this crazy shit. Caroline Levitt, the shit she said about people, Democrats and people on the left, was like, it was crazy. But what we did, the people who went and did this on Saturday, was show them we are not what they say we are. We are not that. We are Americans and we care about this country. Now, whether you think that will embolden people or bring people out further, it's a stress test again. The more stress put on people, the more they will say, hey, I'm feeling this, and these people weren't lying. What they were telling me all along is true. There's people who are ready to do that. They're ready to take that step because they see what's going on. You have smart people who see what's going on, and they voted for him for their financial situation or for whatever reason they voted. There's some people who have some sense and are saying we can't sustain this. And I'm going to tell you, it was all older people there. There was college age kids, okay, who went there of their own volition and had their own time to do their own thing. It's not just old people, it's not just veterans, it's not just whatever people are saying. They're trying every way they can to denigrate this protest because we didn't get violent. The only violence was from them. There was a lady with a MAGA shirt on who brandished her gun. Okay, there was somebody who tried to. I don't know if they succeeded. I don't think I heard that on the news. I haven't looked at it. Who was trying to run a car into a crowd? I think we would have heard of that. But anyway, there was 22 people arrested around the country, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but they were trying to instigate violence. They were trying to visit violence on people who were peacefully protesting, which is an American right. That's as American as apple pie. What we did over the weekend was patriotic. It was the height of patriotism. And they don't want us to have that. They want to say we're not American.
Okay, I just think
Well put.
I have a question. I think you said, and I didn't want to get this to get lost, that when you were comparing it to other events that you've gone to, you said something about, and then you all organized. I don't think you used privately, but it was basically like behind closed doors. And the point that I made initially about what I felt the rally was for was to draw out people of like mind to see who was energized and using that as like a phase one. And then phase two, going to organizing and planning and using that to identify the most easily activated to have some type of significant role. That is what I saw the rally as. I wanted to ask you, when you went to your local event, did you see people signing up for things?
I can see people signing up for things, but at this point where we're at, I feel as though there's a lot of virtue signaling going on. I don't really think people are necessarily aligned with what the messaging was supposed to be, because to me it seemed a little bit disorganized on what the true purpose was. So that was another issue I took with it. I understand the excitement of seeing a lot of people thinking that, a lot of people rally together thinking that that are on a mission to accomplish something. But I mean, honestly, I guess maybe for me, it's just where we're at right now. I just think this is a little too soft. I'm going to be honest. But I do hear what you're saying.
What would you like to see? What would you like to see differently?
Like I said, I think people should have marched. People should have shut roads down. People should have made, people should have been in front of the White House. I think people should have been in front of their elected officials' homes, their homes.
Let me ask you this, because this might give me a better understanding. How close did you get to the center of downtown where they had the roads blocked off with the horses and they were pushing back? So then you seen horses and you seen them beating people back, right?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Because
we're in LA. We're in LA.
Participating in a lot of protests. So
we're in LA. But hey, did you see the way they were pushing people back there in the street?
Yeah, I think my thing is that I think we're overly concerned about the response from Trump. Trump is going to respond to us either way. Like we're sitting here saying that, oh well, it shows that we're peaceful people. Regardless of what we do, they're never going to see us as peaceful people. They're always going to see us as the opposition. And so like Trump is going to treat us as such. This is not a normal thinking person. So like even when people talk about the Insurrection Act and all this other stuff, he is still going to stick the police on us. He is still going to utilize the military against us. So this is so to me it doesn't really matter how Trump perceives us, how the right perceives us, because they always are going to see us as the opposition.
Okay. I know what you're saying, right? It's okay. What should happen versus what can happen is what we're talking about here, right? we would not have to meet, like the longer we wait to seriously address what's going on, just the more extreme the response has to be. And so I understand that you know how late the hour is, and you want a commensurate extreme response. The problem with that is most Americans are not where you are. They are not ready to get hit upside the head with a baton or see their grandma hit with bullets. They're not ready. And so we have to deal with the hearts that are in our hand right now. And so it is, it's kind of like splitting the baby, but I do think for this reason, having a completely nonviolent rally, protest, whatever we want to call it, was an absolute win. Because there are people who didn't go, who now see that the people who are opposing this government are reasonable people. They would be more likely, in my opinion, to join them than if they saw folks, breaking windows, if you will. And so the temperature has not risen enough in the general population for what you're asking. It's risen enough for the people who are now being affected, right? The people whose doors are getting kicked down, they're ready, but it's not a lot of them. And if they get it, if we do this wrong, and these the military, the National Guard, strikes them down with brutal force, that actually will have a quelling effect where people are going to sit down and allow them to put on those shackles. So it's a very thin needle to thread. But I'm saying this because I don't want you to think that, at least I am discounting your dissatisfaction with what was done. I'm just saying that it's because of where we are right now, it's just not feasible. It wouldn't work.
I don't think anyone is discounting how I feel. I think everyone on the stage, has been quite, respectful and responsive to what I'm saying, even though we don't agree on the way to handle the situation. So I'm not really upset with your feelings about it either. I just feel as though, for me, we're getting to a point where it's going to become too late. And so, because I see what's going on because I work in the healthcare sector. I see what's happening to people. I see what's happening to children. Yesterday I spoke about how in my neighborhood we have food programs that we're collecting food for the people who lost their federal jobs, who can't feed themselves, or the children who can't feed themselves, or the elderly who can't even leave their homes to feed themselves. So we're trying to organize, but it doesn't seem like people are. It seems like people are still asleep.
You know what?
And that's frustrating for me.
Agent, I do think we definitely not. I know we need people with your mentality, right? So I don't want you to take it like I'm downing your mentality or your viewpoint as far as your approach, right? But I also think that what we're doing is very strategic, and we're playing chess at this point. He's been pushing the narrative. Trump likes to have narratives that he pushes, and he does it very consistently until it takes hold, until he gains ground with it, right? And one narrative that he's pushing right now is the violent left, terrorist, Antifa. He keeps repeating that redundantly until somebody starts to accept it as truth, right? And if we align with that via our physical actions, we have just played into his hand, right? We're going to make him look retarded for saying that shit by showing that he's wrong via our actions, right? Yep, we definitely have a problem with what you're doing. Yep, we understand how things are trying to be portrayed. Yep, we're going to protest you. Yes, we're going to be legally compliant. There's nothing terroristic about our approach. Everything we did was lawful American activity, justifiable, right? Which makes his actions unjustifiable. When he tries to use the National Guard, when he tries to say that there's terrorists, the violent left, all that has been disproven via action, massive action this weekend. Now, it might not have been exactly as good as it could be, and you probably know more about protesting than me via some of your experiences that you spoke about, and I respect that. But I don't think this was the time to be violent. I could be wrong, but I just don't. I don't. I think it would be premature, and it would be more advantageous to him than us.
I mean, I guess we're just gonna see it differently. I just see the outcomes differently, and like I said, I'm not taking anything with any animus from anyone on stage. Chat warriors are gonna be chat warriors, but I think for me, I just see the outcome it just getting worse. And for me, it's like I just want to stop it from getting there, and like I haven't really heard people talking about how they're organized to help people who are going to lose their health care, people who are going to lose their benefits. Meals on Wheels is already suffering, things like that. How communities are going to manage that. And so, I mean, I understand activism is, shown differently, and people, move differently, and I understand that, but I'm just really concerned about, people's.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're 9 months in, and you had the single day largest protest in American history. You have 7 million people. That's quite a foundation. And the next time something ever, we're going to bring other people with them. And you're going to get them to engage in the civil process. Like, to have that many people who took that sort of step, that's essentially the biggest army America's ever had. So it's actually really a big deal. I don't know if people are appreciating how phenomenal it is to pull that off.
I agree, CEO. Very PTR, by the way. And yeah, I just want to echo too what Jim and I was saying. Kudos to you, Agent. 100% respect your passion and your fervor for wanting more disruption. It really is the epitome of choose our battles right now. The last thing we want to do is literally just give Trump more fuel to the fire. Like he's talking about sending National Guards to cities like San Francisco that have literally the lowest crime rate in over 2 decades. So he's doing these things as to flex clearly a political move going after left cities. But again, like I said, if we give him reason and things go left real quick, like things go south, there you go. That's all he just needs one protest to go sour for some businesses to start getting vandalized, what have you, for one cop to get injured. And it's like I think we would see a wrath that I don't even think we could comprehend for him. So I completely hear you, and I truly support it. I'm just asking, like others, to see it as a chess game and to really do this in phases.
Right, and I also want to point out I just want to say one thing real quick. What I haven't said it. Don't call him the Lord, not right now. I'm going to be real quick. I just wanted to ask a quick question. I thought that I saw, even when it was being advertised, that it was always advertised as a rally, not a protest. I could be wrong.
That's what
It was advertised as a rally, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry, Scotty and Corey. I know he's wrote in the check. Do you want to speak to?
Oh, okay. No, I'll be super quick. I mean, I was at the New York rally, and it was really awesome to see a lot of American flags there, a lot of people having a joyous rally and time, because it's showing to the other side that actually we're having they hate when we're actually joyous and out there in the streets and have a political opinion and all of that. The fact that there wasn't one arrest in New York also shows something else, which means it sets a template for, hey, look, the cops didn't arrest anybody. Y'all like cops, right? They didn't arrest us. So, what is that message to the rest of the country when in New York we had, what do we have, 100,000 people? I'm not sure, 200? But no arrests? No arrests. I've been to so many protests in New York of a much smaller, like a tenth of size, 20th size. There's always arrests. And there wasn't one here.
that's fucking pretty fantastic. So I think the messaging on that alone is really, really important.
You all can excuse my background and any residual mouth sounds. I hope they are not present, but I just had a root canal about 2 hours ago. I'm feeling good. Agent, to your point about, you know, you want to prevent, or the idea of doing something to prevent these seemingly inevitable outcomes, people that scare, people not being able to feed themselves, etc. The whole common saying is those who do not listen must feel. And people to fuck around and find out. We don't listen, so we fuck around and then you find out by feeling. We haven't gotten to the place where there's going to be some mass mobilization of people at a by any means necessary point, because there are not enough people that feel yet. A lot of people feel the groceries are higher, but you're not dealing with that and your health care. You're not dealing with that and not being able to buy groceries. And so I don't think that as a body politic across the country, we are feeling it enough for people to show up in ways that you or others might expect. One. Then there is the aspect of the 92% at all, and the at all I'm including everybody else, is that a lot of us are not interested in showing up for shit, because all of these years, decades, elections of work that we've been doing, and y'all pissed on our efforts, whoever the proverbial y'all is. And so, excuse me, and so a cadre of and other activists, organizers, etc., are biding their time, convalescing over their injuries, emotional, organizational, whatever, and just are not invested in showing up to save America at this time. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. I get it. I get that part. I was one of those people for a minute after Trump was elected. I was one of those people who was just like, all right, I did what I was supposed to do. I canvassed. I did what I was supposed to do to prevent the situation, and I just got slapped in the face. So yeah, I get it. I was in that slump, so I understand.
Yeah, and I think now, I don't know that people are in a slump as much as people have just decided, I've been out, right? We recognize what's happening and we have left it out, especially in the face of what's been happening with ICE and immigrations, Customs Patrol, Homeland Security, the face of that has been Latinx folk, with some smattering of Black folk dealing with the stuff. So we don't really give a damn, because y'all put us in this motherfucking situation in the first place. So figure it out until I decide to get up off the couch.
See, my problem with that is that I feel it's seeping over to people who look like us. And so, like,
I agree.
Like, I'm not gonna wait to be a victim, And so, luckily for me, I'm in a situation where I'm not feeling the hits, but I see other people getting hit. I see us struggling. And so for me, it doesn't make me feel good. I don't see, grandma struggling. I don't like to see kids suffer. And I just see it as children they are the most unprotected demographic in this nation. And I just see them suffering, and I don't like it. I don't like to see children suffering. So, and that's the population that's going to be hit the worst. And I'm an adult, I can take care of myself. But what can a kid do? A kid can't advocate for themselves.
Everybody said what our favorite saying across the country. Fuck them kids. That is really, I say that facetiously, but that is really how people feel. And I say that because, I say this all the time, one of my ministers said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and care is demonstrated by action. We was talking about we care about the kids, we want to save the kids. We really feel like on the deep, like inside, fuck the kids. Or we will be doing the things necessary so that they wouldn't have to deal with it.
I agree. That is their sentiments. I agree. They don't care about children, even though they want to run on this pro-life stance. I agree. But, like, I don't want to sit there and watch this happen, watch children suffer. I just don't want to see it. You know, I don't want to be a part of this. You know, I want to be a part of the resistance. I want to be part of it doing something completely opposite. And so, like, I just feel like people are still asleep. I think too many people are still sleeping.
You don't think that participating on Saturday was you being a part of the resistance?
No, I'm not talking about me specifically. I'm talking about people who are not recognizing how deep we're in right now. We're like how messed up things are right now. People really think like, yeah, so that's what I'm speaking about. And so
Next. I think that that's what Corey was trying to say with those who can't listen to the spiel. I feel your pain. When I told my family that I was leaving the USA, and I've been talking to them for years, they still had a raised eyebrow. And I said everything to them and more than I've said here. And I said, listen, I have a big mouth. And this mouth is going to get me in huge trouble if I hang around. And only like a month ago did they really get it. And this is my own flesh and blood family. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't really think that there's anything you can do about it. People are just going to have to feel it, honey. I'm really sorry.
No, I know people are going to have to feel it. I'm just kind of disappointed.
And as I'm walking, and thinking about this, to reflect honestly to you all about my own feelings, I ain't ready to spend my energy yet. I'm working on stabilizing and fortifying community where it matters to me, so that when the time comes that I have to shift my efforts, those communities, those equities are prepared, protected, whatever the case. But I ain't already revved up, charged up yet, because people who are in a position to do stuff, like the people that we elect, one way or another, they ain't doing enough. And I be damned if I'm about to burn all my goddamn energy before we get to the round where we got to really come out swinging.
That's right.
Because for some of us, this is the last statement I'm going to make for a little while. Because for some of us, the fatigue is real. Like, we was doing this shit during the election. We was doing this shit before the election. We was doing this shit before the last administration, etc. So, always being on and having to do the things. Come here, Rob. Sorry, y'all. Can be tiring. So sometimes, our opt-out is preservation for a later round.
Did y'all hear that Trump said the beautiful black women in Chicago want the National Guards there? They said that they want them to clean up the crime. Doesn't matter how they do it. They're just tired of it.
They're wearing MAGA hats, he said.
Yeah. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah, Trump is right, but I'm not surprised.
But were there really black women down there talking to them?
That was old, am I wrong?
JD, they wearing MAGA hats out there.
A couple weeks ago.
You said what?
They outside wearing, black women outside wearing.
She said this 24 hours ago.
He said the black women in Chicago are outside wearing MAGA hats.
Nah.
And said that these black beautiful women want the National Guards out there.
Look, there is a group of people, there's a group of black people that are.
They
got, all the propaganda from when the immigration put here. So, there's a group that's strong black men out here. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I think we can stop with that mess. But getting away from the protests, like earlier we were talking about strategy. I will say, in terms of broad strokes, I think one of the steps has to be to separate Trump from his inner circle. And there are a lot of ways to do that. Trump cannot do what he is doing without help. And I don't know why there hasn't been more effort to create division, confusion, jealousy, whatever you want to call it, between him and his henchmen who are sitting in the executive branch. It is a lot easier to target someone like Stephen Miller or Steve Bannon or Pam Bondi or whatever than it is to just try to take the whole thing down. You've got to degrade their solidarity, and I think that would be a very wise move on the part of Democrats, whether you are in office or just a blogger. I think Trump's weaknesses, which are being exploited by the people on the right and internationally, are also available to us. He's a very jealous man. He's a very petty man. He is very susceptible to flattery, and so you can do things to make him jealous of somebody in his inner circle, and guess what? They're going to be gone. Because that is the way that man operates. He is very simple in this sense. There's more I could say, but I would love the people.
That's actually a really good point. If we can manipulate the media platforms that we control to create any type of rhetoric showing that, although Trump is doing a halfway decent job, the real hero is XYZ instead of whoever. I guarantee you that's going to create tension because he has an ego that can't fit two.
Jeff said he'd be pumping Marjorie Taylor up all the time. We probably should start, pumping these people up, act like we for them, especially if they seem like they are rooting up Marjorie for healthcare. Huh? You don't want
to pump. No, because she was going to push through George Santos' pardon, so she's a piece of shit. We can say, oh, she was right here, and then be like, but she's still a fucking white trash.
That would be defeating the goals.
That'd be counterproductive.
He's not sneaky enough, y'all.
I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. He's fucking terrible on every fucking count.
No, we don't like any of them. We don't. This is all fake. We don't like any of them. It's just strategy. That's all.
Fuck that hoe.
Eric said it best. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And I said that hoe ain't loyal. I don't trust her.
I don't trust her either.
Divide them. Use their own biases and their own prejudices against them. You have all these
I like that strategy the most so far, honestly.
Now, what kind of language is this y'all trying to confuse and talk about fuck that hoe? I say exactly the heathen.
Give it up, Brooklyn. Let us live.
The church folks be cursing. That's the problem. They do. Yes, they do. That's the problem. They try to claim that everybody else is the hypocrite, but they be the ones that be cursing.
I got
So-
a serious question for the church folks. Those of you that went to church yesterday, did any of your church musicians sneak in the instrumental How Does It Feel? Just wondering.
You better start.
I used to love when they do
You
stuff.
know, D'Angelo's How Do You Feel?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got a cut?
When you say How Do You Feel, the first thing I think is Tupac. So.
Don't start it down like that. First of all, it's how does it feel?
Y'all know what I meant. Yeah, church people don't get it right.
We gotta leave there, you're my lady. Why? How does it feel? That was inappropriate.
Because that's like when they do the prayer and then they play the music for a little bit before they transition to the next part of the service. They used to sneak all of that stuff in, and I would be supposed to have my head down, my eyes closed, and then I'd be like, I know they're not playing that, and I look up and you see them jamming, hoping nobody catches it.
See, the thing is, you can't even tell on them because they'll be like, how do you know the song, Dad? You asked me.
That's why I be telling my daughter, you can't be going to churches because it's live. Like, don't go by that. Like, I don't care about if it's termed at church. That's not what you're there for.
Well, they would get sat down in my church. They don't play that in my church.
Well, as your resident heathen, I'm all for it. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's to contribute to the dead.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta meet them where they are. Isn't that what they said?
That's what I heard. They said,
Then I guess the pastors need to be in strip clubs.
it's been a long time since I've been to church, but I remember them
As
saying
long as you don't touch.
where they are.
Praise the Lord.
He is helping the single mothers.
Get love.
And you just sniff it, right?
Don't touch. Don't touch. Don't touch. That's it.
Well, what if he not touching, but she is?
Well, then that means that he's being touched. He's not supposed to touch. No
Where the hell
interference.
would your mind go to past that to strip club? That's the problem with you
Because
niggas
the
right
pastor's
now.
being strip club, that's why.
That's not the point. The point is that what Janice was saying, y'all always want to go to something else. Y'all the problem. You are the problem. I just wanted to go on a Brooklyn rant. That's it.
I know. So, what's up, brother?
Well, we avoided the gender war so far.
Gender war. We can get it popping now. Don't you threaten me with a good gender war. Don't you get it popping.
Pastor Eric said he is not going to any club, let alone that one. Praise the Lord.
He did with Onyx.
What is roll going?
Exactly.
Oh, Lord, you ain't right. You ain't
You have to roll up later.
right.
Well, Pastor, don't worry. I got you. I told the strippers that you gonna pray for them. That's all I needed to know.
The lady. Absolutely do.
They sure do. I know all my friends used to go straight to church.
They caught me one.
Don't as you are.
All my stripper friends used to go right to church after they left the club on Saturday.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Quit out there witnessing at the strip clubs. It ain't for everybody, but we need people like that.
I witnessed at the strip club.
I really believe you, brother.
John Hasten talking about he done stayed with you.
I'm saying, yo.
So do you guys buy milk alternatives like oat milk?
Yeah, I don't drink regular cow milk.
Yeah, I've discovered that I'm chugging lactose intolerant all of a sudden. But so when y'all get like oat milk, because I like oat milk, do y'all get the flavor out like vanilla? Because I
I
like
do unsweetened, no sugar.
Unsweetened.
okay, unsweetened, no sugar. Yeah, I mean unsweetened, no flavor. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, I can't fucking drink no milk, yo.
Yeah, I'm going to eat ice cream. I don't give a fuck about the goddamn lactose intolerance. They gonna have to take the farts if it's gonna happen.
You can get really good creamy ice cream that has no milk in it. It is very possible. Vegans do it, and it tastes the same too. So you would have to Google protein powder or banana ice creams, and it'll tell you how to do it. You can make it on your own. Yeah. Listen to me. I know what
Hey, sister, can one of my rich clubhouse friends buy me the ninja ice cream maker?
Ain't nobody
December 14th.
Ain't nobody. I know I'm not rich.
Hey, I didn't finish though. Let me just say.
Maybe you're talking about $1 million LLC niggas. One of my rich clubhouse friends.
Ninja got an ice cream maker.
Yeah, JD, I think he can talk to everybody else.
I'm a charity dance. But if anybody want to buy me the ninja, ninja ice cream maker, it's like $3.99.
I'll buy you the box.
You're gonna have to send me ice cream weekly.
And then I'll send you some ice cream with the THC in it too. You know, I put the THC in my ice cream. We have some new shit going around this bitch.
Yeah, I never even knew they had ice cream maker there.
I just discovered it on.
How much is your cost?
It's $3.99. You one of my rich clubhouse.
I'm about to buy me one. That's what I'm asking. I'm buying it.
Well, I'm going to shoot it about that day, December 14th.
I gotta make sure it's good. Let me check this out. Give me the black. Somebody put a link in the chat so I can look this up, and I'll get you.
You what now?
Blackstone Brook.
Oh, now you going to damn far. That Blackstone Grill is expensive.
Yeah, cause
I'm supposed to be helping my cousin buy her husband one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's crazy. You helping somebody buy something for their husband.
Well, he my cousin too.
Okay.
He like my cousin, so that's what I'm saying. Her husband.
Your cousin or you like your cousin?
He's her husband. He's my cousin's husband, but I've known him since I was 8 years old. That's my cousin too. Shit. Yeah, that's my cousin. So we supposed to be buying him one. I just found out about that grill. I'm gonna be the only person using it though. They don't get like in the grill.
Yeah, but you could even do use it as like a grill, like a grill or some shit too.
No, I know that's why I can't wait to buy it because I'm gonna be over there cooking and carrying on real good.
The best ice cream I ever had was my grandma's homemade ice cream. That shit was so rich, it didn't taste nothing like the store shit.
That was one of the only things my grandmother could make was ice cream. So she made ice cream, she made good sweet tea and good lemonade and liver. But outside of that, I didn't have a cooking grandmother, unlike you guys. So there's that. My grandmother was an independent woman that was married. How about that?
Don't say that and just I don't need a nigga society.
I mean, she was equity, but she was, you know what I'm saying? First millionaire in the family type shit.
Oh, okay.
My granddaddy was a chef, so my grandmother didn't cook at all. At all.
I just want to say I'm very upset with John Nice. I can't get that song out of my head. Thanks.
My bad.
That was nasty.
First lady about to be dancing to it on Instagram now.
And that's another reason why, since we brought up this topic of gender wars, I just want to say that these gender role norms are not the norms for everybody. And I'm sick and tired of people saying that women are supposed to do certain things because I don't know those women. Okay? Thank you.
Certain things like what? What they saying?
cook and clean and be barefoot and pregnant. I don't know the moms that do that shit.
Barefoot and pregnant is crazy.
Yeah, and if you're into soft porn, there's a show. It's called Reasonable Doubt. It comes on Hulu.
It's not soft porn. It's
soft porn.
It is not soft porn, but it's really good now. It's a really good show. So she was like, right, it's the soft porn. You gotta do stop.
That is funny calling that soft porn.
I just want to dedicate my PTR to Brooklyn. That's for you when you PTR. Check it out.
Mirror up. Is anybody ready for some more of my non-breaking news?
I love your breaking news.
Go ahead, Sam.
This is from 2 months ago, so just so you know. Christy Nome, my husband's boss, has been accused of posting fake video of black men threatening ICE agents on her ex account. Has anybody seen that?
Fake agents on her ICE account?
Fake. She posted a fake video of black men threatening ICE agents on her ex account.
Oh, no.
Y'all seen that yet?
Yeah,
No.
I haven't seen that.
See now, look, who said my news was 2 months old? Who said that?
I said 2 months old. I said just don't give us anything that's a month old.
Okay.
That's her suspense. Everybody, because she came out the room and came in, and now so we already said it.
April, did she post the video with the agent that Donald Trump was kissing the car also?
She probably didn't, but I saw it.
These are all fake?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
This one's real.
The ICE agent that was driving drunk is real, but I'm going to put the link to this so y'all can see it for yourself.
First lady, you see the ICE agent that was driving drunk?
Child. No.
And you know, it was in Florida, so it was beautiful. Because one of the officers on the scene was Haitian.
Well, how did they get it on camera?
Got caught. But you got the camera on his car and probably a camera.
Maybe I should say who released it, because it seemed like they would have kept it.
They're public.
Yeah, all you gotta do is do a FOIA. You get them. You go on the YouTube channel and see them that be playing that shit. That's what they do. Yeah, you get a FOIA and you whatever gonna do it. So anyway, the first was a white officer, and the second officer that came was a black guy.
Y'all gotta stop falling from the sky for grants.
He goes, "Are you Haitian?" And he said to him, he goes, "Where you from?" And the white cop said, "It doesn't matter." He goes, "Yes, it does matter." That motherfucker, you still lost your job, so I would have told motherfucker, yeah. I thought the plaintiff on his ass.
Oh, wait, they asking black people, are they Haitian? Is that what they do?
No, that's the cop. As he was drunk and pulled over, getting ready to do the DUI test. That's the fuck he was gonna do. He was gonna arrest him. Right. Like, that was crazy.
I'm drunk, but I'm not say.
They told me shit, he's a federal agent.
Yeah.
That
The epitome of our job, y'all. Because you know you gotta have a clearance to do ICE. And you can't do a memorandum for forgiveness with a DUI.
Now, they the fact that it's DUI and child endangerment.
Even if you downgraded the reckless driving, you will lose your clearance. So now he ain't got no job. Pity for you.
Do you think Homeland will see?
Homeland even take costs here.
Homeland seems like he wouldn't care about something like that with his bitch ass. But anyway, this video was originally with the I got the link in the chat. Sorry. The department's own comment on its post on Homeland Security's post on X. They say FAFO. If you threaten or lay hands on our law enforcement officers, we will hunt you down, and you will find out really quick. We'll see you cowards soon. And then the picture is young black people. It's a young black man, like there's another one behind him, and it says, "Us, we're on the way. We're in the streets. Cartels put a 50K bounty on y'all." Now that was a real video, but it was doctored. It was first uploaded with an entirely different caption in which participants jokingly threatened Iran, not U.S. federal immigration agents. So she took that and faked it up to make it look like they were black teens threatening ICE. Now that's what it is. They're trying to instigate shit. They really are.
Why was it Mamdani's fault?
Huh?
Why was it Mamdani's fault? Was it Mamdani's fault? No.
I'm lost.
I thought everything was his fault.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
So why Christy Nome trying to target black teens?
Has she said anything? Has she addressed it?
Eric Swalwell told her to take that shit down, but I don't know if she's taking it down yet. Let me see. Eric Swalwell said, Christy, hit this tweet in all caps, or answer for it in Congress. It's fake. You're the queen of photoshopping. A DHS spokesperson has since told The Independent this young man posted violent threats of murder against our law enforcement. He then deleted it when he was called out and attempted to deny all wrongdoing. We have the receipts and the internet forever. Huh? DHS did not add, change, use AI, or in any other manner or form alter this video. It was downloaded directly from this individual's account on Friday, October 17th. After it had already acquired over 40,000 likes and hundreds of comments urging individuals to target our ICE officers. The willful, intentional blindness by leading Democrats to the massive increase of violent rhetoric against our agents due to their actions is both disgusting and disappointing. Okay.
She's still mad because those airports wouldn't play her video.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with her. But yeah, that's the thing. People are saying it's faked, and they doctored it to make it look like those teens were threatening ICE agents.
Speaking on fake AI type stuff, do you guys know the issue with Kenny Lattimore, the R&B singer, and his wife, and the whole lawsuit they got going on, like fake stuff? You guys know what I'm talking about?
A lawsuit because they said they were breaking up and getting a divorce, and they weren't.
Yeah. So fake Lattimore, Kenny Lattimore's wife, did this whole like investigation on her own and like unearthed this international syndicate that is targeting fake news to black people. And they're like from Pakistan, they're from Russia, of course there's some in the United States, but just making up stories out of whole cloth, and they'll have like hundreds of other websites that will kind of corroborate it, and then it gets picked up by the regular news from there. And I just found it really fascinating. She put a YouTube video out there. She does not play. I don't know if she's an actual judge, but somehow people are calling her Judge Faye. But it all started when earlier this year. Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't know that, but so apparently she's just a tip of the iceberg because they're just like celebrities, and there was all this news going on saying that they're getting ready to have a divorce, that Kenny Lattimore is on the DL, and it got like real particular, like with quotes and pictures and fake video and all this bull crap. And she went to Google. Well, first she went to the authorities. They didn't do jack squat. So she launched her own investigation, went through Google, and there are ways to find out who posted things, even if they are anonymous, and even if they are using VPNs. Now, that part, I have no idea how they're figuring that part out. That makes no sense to me, but they did. And so she named names, right? Like had pictures of folks who had done it. A bunch of them are in Pakistan, and they have all these websites that are like, it's not WorldStar, but WorldStar type websites that like pretty much everybody who pays attention to it are black people. And yeah, it's deep. Look her up on YouTube and you'll see what I mean.
And you know, Russia was doing that for a minute, and they actually had little farms in Ghana where they were setting up
And they'll paying them over there to do that shit for a minute. Yep.
Yeah, and it's really sneaky how it can enter your algorithm because like I accidentally started following some on like Facebook and like then I realized what was going on because almost every update starts with sad news and then there's some supposed celebrity that died or had a tragic event to happen, but the videos always with some kind of title that's like sad news about so and so, and then I'm like, oh my god, like I thought I stopped following all of these accounts.
Yep, Empress Ronnie, that is the video that I saw yesterday. I went down a whole rabbit hole, but she does not play. I would not mess with that woman.
Just so you're on track, and the 420 is supposed to be opening up soon. This room's been open up since 6:30 this morning. I'm just trying to keep it. But
It's just more woman.
Wait a minute, Trent never came in to give his rebuttal to the New Jersey story.
Thank God. He was here earlier on stage, but I left him.
Did you guys talk about the shooter that was averted at the Atlanta airport today?
I don't recall him speaking on it. I was asleep. However, I did put it in the chat room.
Yeah, we talked about it.
So it was talking about
shooters that I get them mixed up. I thought you were talking about the one in Oklahoma. This shit happened so
I know, that's the thing. It was like I turned my head and then suddenly, 2 hours later we got some guy who was like locked and loaded. I mean, it's not a big thing. Like they grabbed him and he had all the ammo and he was a felon and I mean he could have done it's like everything is kindling. Any one little thing is just gonna erupt and then it turns into violence. But yeah, I mean I checked it out on several news things and it was for real. And I didn't even know that had happened. But that's right, so much happens you can't even keep track of it.
I know you guys talked about New York a lot today. Can I just say that it's been reports that the Texas State Fair in Dallas was reportedly very, very, very empty and ends this weekend. But people are saying that's the lowest turnout they've ever seen. And people are saying that our Hispanic brethren ain't going outside. And it's really expensive. It's like going up in price exponentially. A lot.
Well, people only go to the fair for the food, and they said that the Texas State Fair food sucked. So there's that.
I can tell you all the flea markets out in Chicago are feeling it. They are shut down. Ain't no flea markets going on.
Well, our fair is going very well.
Yeah, South Carolina fair, they said South Carolina and North Carolina fair is doing good.
Well, I went to the East Village Dog Parade on Sunday, and it was absolutely mobbed. Thousands of people, dogs and owners dressed up. It was a party. Biggest collection of dogs and costumes I have seen in my life.
Wait, you have a dog?
what was that, Scotty?
No, he just went.
No, I just went with my mom to the dog parade in the East Village, the annual dog parade, and there were thousands of people, dogs, and their owners dressed up. It was crazy. It was one of the biggest parades I've seen. It was crazy. East Village dog parade. It was great.
Yeah. Dogs, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
The UPS one was my favorite.
It was pretty incredible. I'll post a link to one of the New York IGs about it. It's really fucking hysterical.
Wait a minute, Jonah, you mean to tell me they don't have dog parades in LA? Huh?
No.
What? Not LA. You don't have dogs?
They got shows. I know about the shows. I don't know about any of the parades.
I would also
also like to say that if anyone's familiar with the author Jeff Pearlman, he did it's a YouTube short, but it's in his upcoming Tupac book. He actually was able to find the Brenda from the Brenda's Got a Baby song, the Tupac song. And he had about
That's
20
a whole
minutes.
The girl from Brenda Got a Baby from my neighborhood. So it's an article about it from
1991. Yeah,
she's from my neighborhood. She's from Plaza Housing Project.
And I know Brooklyn is telling the fucking truth because that's what he just said in the motherfucking video. I'm gonna be in your back. But if anyone
that shit was big news back then, like that. It was on the news, like she really put the baby in the damn garbage thing, and that was a big thing. Like she was being molested by her. That was a lot going on. So that was like big news back then. I never forget that.
Baby, but Brenda's barely got a brain, so you know.
Well, he had to embellish because he ain't need her, but
but she wasn't. She was being brought up in the household and they didn't give a fuck about her. So yeah, of course she did have a brain because they wasn't making her go to school or nothing. He meant it literally. She did. She was a little kid that was being molested and had a baby out of molestation.
Who's like
12 years old. But he was able to reunite the mother and the son. The story when he was retelling it, like literally brought tears to my eyes. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, that's so sweet. They reunited. Oh, that was sweet.
Oh, did you cry like the baby or did you just tear just a little bit?
It's not like a baby, but it was just like the emotion in it because he said when he contacted quote Brenda and he said, and she just started yelling out, screaming, did you find my baby? 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 And she lives in Jersey, but she just happened to be in Vegas at a concert. And guess what that boy, when he got adopted, was adopted out to? Vegas.
Oh.
Was in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, post that story. I want to see that. That's wonderful. That would
I'll
be.
put it in the chat. But yeah,
That gives me a little bit of nostalgia.
In the Miracle on 34th Street subway, baby, it's the baby still dead.
Why are we saying she didn't have a brain?
Have you ever heard the song?
Yes, but if she was molested and had a job,
That's just how the song went.
Brooklyn. Hey, Brooklyn, I posted a link to one of my favorite ones from the parade, but anybody likes feel free to click on the link and scroll through some of the pictures. It's pretty funny. It may make you smile, and I apologize for that.
No worries.
I gotta wait till I get home, but I want to see this because you know I love me a good dog anything. I'm actually taking the Shih Tzu click to the Beltline on Saturday. They doing a little doggy costume situation, so I'm gonna go and be white for the day. I'm gonna do a white one for the day.
Brooklyn, spoiler alert, you know the meme with the dog surrounded by fire drinking coffee, like this is fine? This is fine? You know that meme?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the costumes.
Somebody did the costume.
Yeah.
That's cute.
So I posted the link in the chat.
Cute.
It's a YouTube video.
I wish my bullies could do stuff like this, but they don't be out there trying to fight every dog they see. And I don't have time for no lawsuits. I can't do nothing with my bullies. This is ridiculous.
Hey, did you read the chat?
Which one, Telegram?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna look at it.
What you talking about, my guys? I'm checking it out.
I said, train your dogs.
Oh, that's something. They train.
This is about to open in the next 10 to 15 minutes, y'all.
Okay.
I can't wait to get it here.
What you said?
Yeah, what's up? Wait, I'm not tracking. I don't understand what's supposed to be.
When you go, just go. So we can share it. Cause she puts it in
Oh,
the
yeah,
chat.
yeah.
Don't come back.
I like the little Jesus dog. Wait a minute, Jonah, what did you say? What happened? What did you say, Jonah?
About what? Which part? I should know what.
You said you can't wait to do what?
Oh, I said probably can't wait to get us out of here.
I'm tired.
Every time I think about something, I'm silent because
They got a dog dressed as a cat at the bodega. That is so cute.
We come the last 13 hours.
I had to come home because my damn charger, I got 2 additional chargers, raggedy ass one.
I didn't know did y'all
Both of them dead.
JD, bro, I told you.
What you say about my man?
I said.
Please don't make me fight you, nigga.
I said, did you holler at JD about what I told your crazy ass?
About what? About that room?
About the back channel I sent.
Oh, about that room, child. Oh, wait a minute. Child, you know what?
It ain't even worth discussing on stage.
Shit ain't even worth for discussion.
Yeah.
Talking about Force Winnie and the mods and Patty Loose, this person, that, but I don't even care. Nigga, like, he's not a fucking clown.
He is a fucking clown.
A clown. A racist clown at that.
I know he's racist. I knew he was a fucking clown, though.
Oh, he's a racist. I didn't even know who it was until Trent actually said, yeah, he does say racist stuff. I was like, oh yeah.
Trent always, you know what? Trent always got racist people that
No, Trent doesn't say that about other people. So if Trent says he said some racist shit, oh, you a fucking racist.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't even say that about PP.
Right. So if Trent was like, oh, he does racist. If he said, then you were racist. Trent said you were racist, you were motherfucking racist.
This is a new room in addition to that one they had here today.
Nah, JD, it's the same one. I was telling her that I hollered at Trent when he pulled up. That's all.
I'm gonna say that Pat, you got us feeling like the last kid at the daycare and the mom was late. That's what you got us feeling like. Wait for Lisa's room to open. You know how they be looking at you like, you sure your mama knows you here?
If you know she almost gonna be here, what you can do is you can go and wait in front of the school.
Like 30 minutes after that all the kids was gone.
And that's what you tell you. You can go here and wait in front of the school if you sure don't
Right. We gonna put you outside.
We're gonna charge Lisa for
All
this
they wanna
one.
do is charge you this is shit that's crazy. You pay a whole fucking daycare for a week. 15 minutes is what? Exactly. $20. And every minute after that is another 10. I left my baby at the daycare 30 minutes one time. I was like, shit, it's a week of daycare.
They make money. Hey, my mom ran a daycare for the state, and they actually got paid good.
Yeah. And that's when I was poor. I was a young ass lieutenant. I was fucking delivering pizzas and
You got to be ill with the daycare workers, so they'll work something out with you. They like you.
Not when you're doing it for the state, they can't, because it's the state.
I'm talking about I'm not talking about for the price of daycare. I'm talking about when you late.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. My mom will keep people late all the time. That's a fact.
That baby was a baby daddy. Them shits is hot now.
They hired $20 the first
Yes.
My mom used to have everybody tripping because she had little white kids, little black kids, and she had them in line. Like, we go with her to the post office, wherever we be in line. People be amazed, like, they all sitting here so quiet. Did you beat them? Like,
I'm beating the daycare kids.
she wasn't beating them. She just had that. She the oldest of like 6. Like, she the oldest out of her family, too. So she took care of her brothers and sisters. She just, I don't know how to explain it. Some women just know how to, they got that authoritative feel about them. Ain't got nothing to do with whether they beat you or not. They just know how to move.
Tim and I did that to my son today. He came in here and got one of my little, this fucking squishmallow thing. and was tossing around his hand, and it came up
Hey, the
here
room
on
is
my
open.
desk.
The room is open.
Oh, okay.
Mr. White, goodbye.
I just want to know, will y'all be leaving us?
I say we have a city and right now we don't go nowhere. We
No, wait. I was y'all had no money. You had no money to stay. You had no money. You had no money. Y'all give me what froze, but y'all don't open
Let's
your
have no Queens
froze.
protest right now.
You had no money. You had no money. Oh my God! Now you want to still us open it with the faggot?
Yeah, we gotta come in and that is true. We gotta come in and act like it's cool.
Courtney, you got hookah over there, y'all.
Share wings with the freeze cup. That's what it is.
Now we gotta be on record and know it's gonna go on YouTube at some point.
I know. I don't like the replays. Yo, stay in here. Put your cat nap up. I'll give y'all love to say.
Doug, get you 15 minutes.
Shit.
I'm gonna put your cash app
Let's educate them.
Damn, man.
Not tonight. Not tonight.
My culture.
Y'all, wait, I'm gonna play this song. Y'all got so much time. Y'all got to go. I love y'all, but me and Lady have been up all day. We really
You should just make me a mod.
I'm opening up an app for everything.
So what's his name got fucking access? So he can open up the after party, y'all.
Just make me a mod and I'll make sure I put these people in
Get out of here.
You're gonna have to drag me out.
Get out. Goodbye, Roslyn.
You gotta drag me out this motherfucker.
Because the room is big. The link is at the top. Go next door. Y'all ate all our food. We got somebody coming into the carpet. Some of y'all didn't know how to take these fucking shoes off. Y'all can't stop it on our couch. Stop it on the fucking floor. It's time to go. Get out. Gemini, bye. Scotty, get out of here.
I can't find my jacket.
I swear I'll take care of this motherfucker for you.
Totally. You keep in the room or you don't?
I told you you was closing it. I was about to post the link in the chat.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and keep the room for you.
Damn, she just straight up ignored me.
No,
I don't trust you, Ray. I don't know you, nigga.
it's not that. But I'm bouncing, and I gotta leave it with the people that actually is mods. If somebody want to stay, because they don't want to be in that room, then the mod can stay. But boom the room if you ain't gonna stay culturally, unless there's somebody you trust.
Okay.
Basically, she don't trust me because I'm an asshole. She basically said, not tonight.
No, it's alright. You can move around. I'm sure you guys want to talk about sneakers.
I'm about to put a link in the chat. Y'all can go over there.
Crash House?
Yeah, and I'm gonna boom the room once you go over there.
Oh, good call. So I should change my PTR to that.
Yeah, hit the link. I put it in the chat. Y'all go to that link because I'm about to go to this room.
Yes, sir.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Are you kidding? You couldn't be on the 406. And that statute actually allows the president, says the president finds that regular forces are unable to execute federal law. So he's sending in troops to execute the federal law. But the finding must be within a colorable basis of facts. The courts give deference to the president's judgment. They won't substitute their own fact finding entirely. So I don't think it was a bad call, y'all. I'm sorry. Are we moving on? Are we moving on?
We could. I heard about a federal judge got himself into a lot of trouble at state Supreme Court. I'm gonna have to see if I pulled it up on my actual news feed. But the Supreme Court judge from unknown state tried to use her position to get her husband off for like a DUI, and she committed in the state a felony. And the Supreme Court was like, nah, and she's a lower judge in the Supreme Court. They're like, no. Homegirl who committed a felony, she can still serve. It's totally tight. I've got to find the exact state, but it's not necessarily breaking news, but it is interesting as it comes to judges.
Yeah, so I'm on page 17 of the 93-page ruling. And so far, from what I can ascertain, is the violence, the damage to the buildings, and the behavior of the protesters seem to be the catalyst to justify.
Right, that's why I told them to pause it the first time, because they used the catalyst, they used that as the catalyst on why the justification